The Christmas Wish. A Juniper Falls Christmas Romance. Written by Susanne. Please like and subscribe. Chapter 1. Stella. The wooden arch over the entrance to Gracewood Pines is exactly as the ad described, hand-carved with evergreen garlands woven through the letters, but somehow the photograph didn't capture the way the twinkle lights make everything glow soft and golden against the December afternoon. I grip the steering wheel tighter and tell myself this is just a job interview. Nothing more. Mom, look. Toby's voice rises with wonder from the back seat. It's like a Christmas movie. He's not wrong. White lights spiral up the lamp posts lining the driveway. Wooden signs shaped like arrows point toward different areas of the farm. Hot cocoa, sleigh photos, gift barn, Santa's corner. In the distance, I can see rows and rows of evergreen trees, their branches heavy with fresh snow, stretching toward the mountains. It's beautiful. The kind of place that makes you believe in magic and fresh starts and all the things I've learned not to trust. Can we get cocoa after? Toby asks, his breath fogging the window as he presses his face against the glass. Please? Maybe. If the interview goes well. I pull into a spot near what looks like the main building. It's a massive red barn with a green metal roof and more twinkle lights outlining every edge. Remember what we talked about? You need to stay close and be quiet and good. I know, Mom. His mittened hand finds mine as I unbuckle his seatbelt, and something in my chest tightens. I smooth down my coat and take a breath. The air is crisp and clean, sharp with pine and wood smoke. Somewhere nearby, Christmas music plays softly, and the scent of hot chocolate drifts from a small stand near the barn entrance. Ready? I ask Toby. He nods, squeezing my hand 3 times. Our signal. I love you. I squeeze back. 3 times. Always. The barn doors are propped open despite the cold, and warmth spills out along with golden light and the murmur of voices. Inside, the space is even more enchanting than the outside. Garland drapes from rough-hewn rafters. Displays of handmade ornaments and wreaths line the walls. A group of customers browses near a table piled with pine cones and ribbon, while a woman with silver hair and a kind smile helps a family choose decorations near the register. This is the kind of place I used to dream about. Before I learned that dreams were impractical. Before I was told that my ideas were silly and my hopes were childish and that I needed to focus on reality instead of fairy tales. Can I help you? The silver-haired woman approaches. Her eyes are warm, the kind that crinkle at the corners when she smiles. I'm Stella Monroe. I have an interview with. I glance at the email I printed out. Wyatt McCall? Ah, wonderful. I'm Marianne, Wyatt's mother. She extends her hand, and I shake it, hoping mine isn't trembling. He's just finishing up with a customer. And who's this handsome young man? Toby ducks behind my leg, shy in the way he's been since we left. Since everything changed. This is Toby. My son. I hope it's okay that I brought him. The ad said family friendly, and I didn't have anyone to watch him. Of course it's fine. Marianne's expression doesn't change, but I catch something in her eyes. I'm used to both. Single mothers aren't always welcome in spaces like this, no matter what the job posting says. Why don't you both warm up? There's hot cider on the refreshment table, and we have cookies, fresh from Belle's Bites in town. Toby peeks out from behind me at the mention of cookies. That's kind of you, I say carefully. Thank you. Marianne gestures toward a corner near a wood stove where several chairs are arranged in a cozy semicircle. Make yourselves comfortable. Wyatt should be right with you. She returns to her customers, and I guide Toby toward the seats. He's wide-eyed, taking in everything. Mom, he whispers. This place is so cool. It is, I admit, letting myself feel it for just a moment. But remember, we're here for an interview. I know. He sits carefully in one of the chairs, his feet dangling above the floor. I'll be good. The words shouldn't hurt, but they do. He's 6. He should be asking for things, making demands, testing boundaries. Not trying to be invisible so he doesn't make my life harder. I'm reaching for a cup of cider when I hear a voice from the other side of the barn. Deep and steady, with a warmth that somehow carries even in the busy space. I think that tree would be perfect for your living room. Not too tall, but full enough to hold a lot of ornaments. I turn, and there he is. Wyatt McCall. He's taller than I expected, with broad shoulders under a navy work coat and brown hair that's slightly wind-tousled. His hands are large and work-worn as he gestures to a tree a young couple is considering, and when he smiles at something the woman says, his whole face softens in a way that makes my breath catch. I look away quickly. This is a job interview. That's all. I can't afford to notice how steady he seems, how his presence makes the whole barn feel more grounded. Is that him? Toby whispers beside me, and I realize he's been watching too. He looks nice. Shoo. I hand him a cup of cider, hoping he doesn't notice the way my hands shake slightly. Drink this. And remember. Quiet and good. I know, Mom. Wyatt finishes with the couple, shaking their hands and pointing them toward the checkout counter. Then he turns, and his eyes scan the barn until they land on me. He has the kindest eyes I've ever seen. Soft brown, the color of the hot chocolate Toby loves, and when he starts walking toward us, I forget how to breathe properly. Stella Monroe? His voice is even warmer up close, gentle in a way that makes me want to trust him immediately. Which is exactly why I shouldn't. Yes. Hi. Thank you for meeting with me. I stand too quickly, and Toby's cider sloshes in his cup. I steady it with one hand, hyper-aware of how clumsy I must look. This is my son, Toby. Wyatt's attention shifts to Toby, and his smile widens. Not the patient but dismissive smile most adults give children. A real one. Hey, Toby. Welcome to Gracewood Pines. Toby doesn't answer, just ducks his head and presses closer to my leg. He's a little shy, I say quickly. But he'll stay out of the way during the interview. I promise. No need to promise anything. Wyatt crouches down, bringing himself to Toby's level without making it seem like effort. You know what, Toby? I was shy when I was your age too. Took me a while to warm up to new places. He glances at me, just for a second. But this is a good place. I think you'll like it here. Toby peeks out at him, curious despite his shyness. I have someone I'd like you to meet, Wyatt continues. If that's okay with your mom? He looks up at me, waiting for permission, and the simple courtesy of it makes my throat tight. Most people just assume. Most people don't ask. Okay, I manage. Wyatt stands and gestures toward a workbench set up near the wood stove, where an elderly man with silver hair and suspenders sits whittling something small and delicate. That's my grandfather. We call him Pop. He's been working on a project all afternoon, and I think he could use an assistant. Pop's nice, Wyatt adds, reading the hesitation on my face. And he loves kids. But only if Toby wants to. Toby looks up at me, uncertain. I squeeze his hand 3 times. You don't have to. But it's okay if you want to. Will you stay close? His voice is so small it breaks my heart. Right here. I promise. You can see me the whole time. Pop, Wyatt says as they reach the bench. This is Toby. He's visiting today while his mom has an interview. Think you could show him what you're working on? Pop sets down his whittling knife and peers at Toby through wire-rimmed glasses. His face crinkles into a smile that reminds me of my own grandfather, gone now for 5 years. An interview, you say? Well, that's important business. You know what I do when there's important business happening? Toby shakes his head. I make something. Pop holds up the small piece of wood he's been carving, a star, its edges smooth and perfect. Keeps my hands busy and my mind calm. You ever whittle before? Another shake. Want to learn? Toby glances back at me. I nod, trying to smile in a way that says it's okay, you're safe, I'm right here. He turns back to Pop and nods. Good man. Pop pats the stool beside him. First rule of whittling is patience. Can't rush a good piece of work. I watch Toby settle onto the stool, his small frame dwarfed by Pop's gentle presence, and something in my chest eases. Just a little. He'll be fine, Wyatt says softly beside me, and I startle. I hadn't heard him come back. Pop's raised 3 kids and helped with 4 grandkids. He knows how to make them feel at home. Thank you. The words feel inadequate. For being kind to him. Kids deserve to feel welcome. Especially the shy ones. There's something in the way he says it that makes me think he understands more than he's saying. Should we sit? Wyatt gestures to the chairs by the wood stove. I'd offer to do this in the office, but it's mostly a storage closet with delusions of grandeur. This is more comfortable. A laugh escapes before I can stop it, surprising us both. There it is, Wyatt says, and his smile does something dangerous to my carefully constructed walls. I was hoping to see that. Heat floods my face. I look down at my cider, suddenly unable to meet his eyes. See what? Your smile. He says it simply, like it's not the most disarming thing anyone's said to me in years. It lights up your whole face. I don't know how to respond to that, so I don't. Instead, I sit in one of the chairs and grip my cup tighter, willing myself to focus. This is a job interview and I need this position. I can't afford to be flustered by a man with kind eyes and an easy way of noticing things. Wyatt settles into the chair across from me, somehow making a formal interview feel like a conversation between friends. So, Stella. Tell me what brings you to Gracewood Pines. I need a job. The words come out more honest than I intended. The seasonal position you posted seemed like a good fit. I have experience in retail and customer service, and I'm good with details and organization. That's the practical answer. Wyatt's expression is gentle. What's the real one? The question catches me off guard. Most interviewers don't care about the real answer. They want the rehearsed one, the one that makes you sound qualified and eager without revealing that you're desperate and exhausted and barely holding things together. I falter, unsure what he wants to hear. I moved to Juniper Falls a few weeks ago. Fresh start. And Toby loves Christmas, so when I saw the posting for work at a Christmas tree farm, I trail off, hoping that's enough. Where'd you move from? Raleigh. That's a big change. City to small town. It was time for something different. Wyatt doesn't push, just nods like he understands things I haven't said. What kind of work did you do in Raleigh? Office administration. Scheduling, organizing events, managing inventory. I worked for a medical supply company for 3 years. Until I couldn't anymore. Until leaving became more important than stability. I'm good at keeping things running smoothly behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, Wyatt repeats, and something in his tone makes me look up. You like being behind the scenes? I don't mind it. That's not the same as liking it. No. It's not. But liking things isn't part of my equation anymore. Surviving is. I'm good at it, I say instead. And I'm reliable. I show up on time, I follow directions, and I don't cause problems. The words sound hollow even to my own ears, but Wyatt doesn't comment on it. Instead, he leans forward slightly, elbows on his knees, and I catch the scent of pine and wood smoke clinging to his coat. Here's what I need, he says. Someone who can help in the gift barn. We sell ornaments, wreaths, handmade crafts, and things like that. Local artisans bring them to us on consignment. During December, we're open 7 days a week, and it gets busy. I need someone who can assist customers, restock displays, help with wreath workshops on Friday nights, and generally keep things organized without needing constant direction. I can do that. The relief is swift and sharp. This is manageable. This is exactly the kind of work I'm good at. The hours are flexible, Wyatt continues. We're open 10 to 8 most days, but I don't need you for all of that. I'm thinking maybe 4 to 5 hour shifts, 4 or 5 days a week. We can work around Toby's schedule. Something loosens in my chest. Really? Really? His eyes are steady on mine. We're family friendly here, Stella. My mom brings my nephew sometimes when she works. Pop's always around. If you need to bring Toby occasionally, that's fine. As long as the work gets done and customers are taken care of, I'm good. I want to believe him. But I've learned that promises like this often come with conditions I don't discover until it's too late. That's very generous, I say carefully. But I don't want special treatment. I'll find childcare. I don't want to be a burden. I swallow the word before it escapes. I don't want to complicate things. It's not a complication. Wyatt's expression is so earnest it makes my eyes sting. Kids are part of life. Good employers plan for that. The kindness in his voice is almost too much to bear. Can I ask you something? Wyatt says after a moment. Okay. Why are you trying so hard to convince me you won't be any trouble? The question lands like a stone in still water, rippling through all my careful defenses. I just want you to know I take this seriously. That I'll work hard. I believe you. But that's not what I'm hearing. He pauses, choosing his words carefully. I'm hearing someone who's been made to feel like she needs to apologize for existing. My breath catches. Tears prick the corners of my eyes, and I blink them back furiously. I should check on Toby. Stella. He doesn't know anyone here, and he's probably getting restless, and he's fine. Wyatt's voice is gentle but firm. Look. I turn toward the workbench, and my heart squeezes. Toby is bent over a small piece of wood, his tongue caught between his teeth in concentration as Pop guides his hands with the patience of someone who has all the time in the world. Toby's entire face is lit with focus and wonder. He looks happy. When was the last time I saw him look like that? Pop has that effect on people, Wyatt says quietly. Makes them feel like whatever they're doing is the most important thing in the world. My grandma Grace was the same way. Was? She passed 3 years ago. He gestures around the barn. She and Pop built this place together. It was her dream as much as his. I'm sorry. Thank you. Wyatt's smile is sad but genuine. What made you post for seasonal help? I ask. Honestly? I'm drowning. Wyatt laughs, but there's exhaustion beneath it. December is our busiest month. Between managing the tree sales, the gift barn, the events, and the weekend Santa visits, I can't keep up. And my mom helps, but she's got her hands full with my sister's kids. Pop's here every day, but he's 82. I worry about him overdoing it. So what you really need is someone who can handle multiple tasks without much oversight. Exactly. Someone organized and capable who doesn't mind jumping between projects. His eyes meet mine again, and this time the look lingers. Someone like you. You don't know me. The words come out sharper than I intend. True. But I've been watching you since you walked in. My pulse quickens. Watching me? You straightened the ribbon display when you walked past it. Organized the cider cups into even rows. Noticed that one of the wreaths on the wall was crooked and resisted the urge to fix it, but barely. His smile is warm, not mocking. You have an eye for detail and a need for things to be in order. That's exactly what I need. He saw all of that? In 15 minutes? I also noticed, Wyatt continues, softer now, that you checked on Toby 4 times even though he's been perfectly content the entire time. That you apologized 3 times for things that don't require apologies. And that you've been clutching that cider cup like it's a shield. I look down at my hands. He's right. My knuckles are white around the paper cup. I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable, Wyatt says gently. I'm just saying I see you. And I think you'd be really good at this job. If you want it. The offer hangs in the air between us, warm and terrifying. I haven't even shown you what I can do yet, I protest weakly. You already have. Wyatt stands. But if you want to prove it, how about you help me with something? Consider it a working interview. Wyatt leads me toward a table piled with ornaments that clearly need organizing. Boxes are half unpacked, tissue paper scattered, delicate glass balls mixed with wooden figurines in a way that makes my organizing instincts scream. This is today's disaster, Wyatt says with a rueful smile. A vendor dropped off 3 boxes this morning, and I haven't had time to sort them. They need to be organized by type, priced, and displayed before the evening rush. Think you can handle it? Yes. The answer comes immediately. This, I can do. This makes sense. Great. I'll be nearby if you need anything. Pricing gun is in the drawer under the register, tags are in the basket, and display space is wherever you think makes sense. Use your judgment. Your judgment. Not check with me first or do it exactly this way. Your judgment. I nod, already mentally cataloging the chaos into categories. Glass ornaments. Wooden decorations. Fabric crafts. Handmade pottery. I pull out the first ornament, a delicate glass snowflake, and begin. The work is soothing. I sort carefully, grouping like with like, checking each piece for damage before pricing it. When I start arranging them on the display, I find a rhythm. Snowflakes with winter-themed pieces. Wooden animals grouped by size. Handmade stockings arranged by color. I'm so focused I don't notice the time passing until I hear a soft laugh behind me. Well. That's impressive. I turn to find Wyatt standing a few feet away, arms crossed, watching me with an expression I can't quite read. What? You turned chaos into art in under 30 minutes. He moves closer, examining my work. I told you I had experience. You did. I busy myself with straightening a display. My mom's going to love you. Wyatt picks up an ornament carefully. She's been begging me to get help with merchandising. This is exactly what we need. Does that mean? I trail off, afraid to hope. The job's yours. If you want it. His smile is genuine, open in a way that makes me want to believe this is real. You can start tomorrow if you'd like. Or we can wait until after the weekend. Whatever works for you. Tomorrow, I say quickly, before I can second-guess myself. Tomorrow would be perfect. Great. Wyatt extends his hand again, and this time when we shake, his grip is warm and sure and somehow reassuring. Welcome to Gracewood Pines, Stella. Thank you. My voice is steadier now. You won't regret this. I know I won't. He releases my hand but doesn't step back. And Stella? Stop apologizing for taking up space. You belong here just as much as anyone. The words hit something deep inside me, something I've kept carefully locked away for 2 years. I don't trust myself to respond, so I just nod. Across the barn, Toby's laugh rings out. It's bright and unguarded. I turn to see him holding up a small wooden star, his face glowing with pride. Look, Mom. Pop helped me make it. The sight of him happy, of him relaxed enough to laugh in a new place with a new person, makes my eyes burn. That's beautiful, sweetheart, I call back. It's for you. For luck. Pop says everyone needs a little luck at Christmas. Pop's very wise, I say, my voice thick. Wyatt crouches down, and I watch as he inspects something near Toby's feet. Hey, buddy. Your mitten came undone. Toby looks down at the bright blue mitten hanging loose from his coat sleeve, the clip that's supposed to keep it attached having come undone. I can fix it later, I start to say, already moving toward them. But Wyatt's already kneeling in the sawdust, his large hands gently rethreading the mitten clip with the same patience Pop showed Toby with the whittling. There we go. Good as new. Thank you, Toby says softly. Anytime, buddy. Wyatt stands, and his eyes find mine across the space. Something passes between us. Something warm and dangerous and completely unexpected. My chest tightens. Don't, I warn myself. Don't get attached. Don't need anyone. But watching Wyatt ruffle Toby's hair with easy affection, seeing my son smile up at him with something like trust, I feel the first crack in the armor I'd built so carefully. And I'm terrified of what might happen if it breaks.
Chapter 2. Wyatt. The Santa suit smells like mothballs and cedar, same as it does every year. I pull the red velvet coat over my flannel and fasten the wide black belt, checking my reflection in the storage room mirror. The beard is decent and the hat sits at the right angle to hide most of my own hair. Pop appears in the doorway, his eyes crinkling with amusement. You look ridiculous. Thank you for that vote of confidence. Your grandmother always said you made a terrible Santa. You're too young. He adjusts my beard, tugging it higher over my cheeks. But the kids don't seem to mind. They don't. That's the strange magic of it. Once I'm in the suit, sitting in that old wooden chair Grandpa crafted 40 years ago, something shifts. Kids who know me as Wyatt McCall, who've watched me load their Christmas trees onto car roofs or serve them hot chocolate at the fire pit, suddenly see Santa Claus. Their eyes go wide. Their voices drop to whispers. They believe. And I love it. I love every second of it. Stella's here, Pop says casually, too casually. Saw her setting up Toby over by the window with coloring books and some kind of elaborate snack situation. I busy myself with the coat buttons, avoiding his knowing look. Good. She said she'd bring him on weekends until she found someone to watch him. What? Nothing. Pop's smile is infuriating. Just notice the way you've been acting around her. Can't keep your eyes off that woman. It's strictly professional. She's a new employee. Of course I'm keeping an eye on her. Wyatt, my boy, I've known you since you were in diapers. I know when you're interested in someone. Heat crawls up my neck. I'm not interested. I hired her 2 days ago. I'm making sure she's settling in okay. Right. And I'm just a casual observer noting that you've reorganized the ornament display 3 times this morning. Near where she's working. The display needed reorganizing. I give up and pull on the white gloves. She's nice. That's all. And her kid is sweet. I'm being a decent employer. Pop pats my shoulder, his hand warm even through the velvet. Well, decent employer, your Santa corner is filling up. Better get out there before Mrs. Patterson's grandkids stage a revolt. He's right. Through the storage room door, I can hear the excited chatter of children gathering near the ornate chair we set up in the corner of the barn every December. The backdrop is a simple painted winter scene with evergreens and falling snow. It's not much, but it's enough. The chair is what matters. Hand-carved by my grandfather with intricate details of holly leaves and stars, it's been in every Gracewood Pines Christmas photo for 4 decades. I take a breath and step out into the barn. The transformation is immediate. Children's faces light up. A little girl gasps and tugs her mother's sleeve. A boy who can't be more than 4 points in shouts, "Santa!" Ho ho ho, I rumble, pitching my voice lower, and settle into the chair with practiced ease. The line forms quickly. A little girl with pigtails is first, informing me very seriously that she's been mostly good this year, except for the incident with the flour in the kitchen, but that was an accident and hardly her fault. Then comes a boy who wants a puppy and a complete Lego castle and maybe a dinosaur if Santa has extra. A shy toddler, who won't let go of his mother's hand, manages to whisper truck before burying his face in her shoulder. Each child is different, but the pattern is the same. They climb onto my lap or stand close enough to whisper, and they tell me their hopes and wishes. The things they believe only Santa can deliver. It's humbling. Every single time. I'm listening to a girl explain the complex politics of her friend group and why she absolutely needs matching charm bracelets for everyone when I notice Stella. She's at the merchandise table near the window, restocking a display of handmade stockings. Toby sits nearby, surrounded by coloring books, crayons, a thermos, and what looks like enough snacks to sustain a small army. He's coloring with intense focus, occasionally glancing up at his mother to make sure she's still close. Stella moves with quiet efficiency, straightening stockings, adjusting price tags, helping a customer find the right size without ever raising her voice above a murmur. She's dressed in layers against the barn's fluctuating temperature. A deep green sweater over a cream thermal, jeans that look worn but clean, and boots that have seen better days. She looks tired. Not physically exhausted, but soul tired. The kind of tired that comes from carrying too much for too long. I wonder what put that weariness in her eyes. Santa? The charm bracelet girl waves her hand in front of my face. Are you listening? Of course. I refocus, giving her my full attention. Matching bracelets for 7 friends. That's very thoughtful of you. It is, isn't it? She beams, clearly pleased with herself, then scrambles down and runs back to her parents. The finally starts to shorten. More wishes and wide eyes. I'm halfway through a detailed request for a specific edition of a graphic novel series when I see Toby stand up. He looks at the Santa line. At me. At his mother, who's helping a customer and hasn't noticed him move. Then he walks toward me and gets in line. My heart does something strange in my chest. The little girl in front of him finishes her request and hops down, and Toby steps up. He's small for 6, bundled in a puffy blue coat that makes him look even smaller, and his eyes are uncertain as he approaches. Hello there, I say gently, using my Santa voice. What's your name? Toby. It comes out barely above a whisper. Nice to meet you, Toby. Would you like to sit and tell Santa what you'd like for Christmas? He hesitates, glancing back toward where Stella is still occupied with a customer examining ornaments. Then he nods and climbs carefully onto my lap, his movements cautious, like he's afraid of taking up too much space. So, Toby, I say, keeping my voice warm and encouraging. Have you been good this year? A nod. I bet you have. You seem like a very good boy. I adjust slightly so he's more comfortable. What would you like Santa to bring you for Christmas? Toby doesn't answer right away. His small hands twist in his lap, and I can see him gathering courage for something. When he finally speaks, his voice is so quiet I have to lean in to hear. It's not for me. Oh. It's for my mom. Something in my chest tightens. What about your mom? Toby looks up at me then, and his eyes are far too serious for his age. Old beyond his years. She doesn't smile very much anymore. She used to. But now she's always worried and tired, and she thinks I don't notice, but I do. The words land like stones, each one heavier than the last. I see, I manage. So my wish, Toby's voice cracks slightly. My Christmas wish is that you could help my mom smile again. Like she used to. Please? The simple earnestness of it, the pure love behind the request, hits me square in the chest. This child, who could ask for toys or games or anything a 6-year-old might want, is using his one wish on his mother's happiness. I swallow hard around the sudden tightness in my throat. Toby, I say carefully, trying to keep my voice steady. That's a very special wish. Very kind. Will you try? His eyes search mine. I know you're really busy with all the kids and everything, but if you have time, could you maybe help her? Mom says Christmas is the time for miracles. And you're Santa, so. He trails off, but the hope in his expression is almost unbearable. I'm saved from having to respond by a familiar voice. Well, isn't this sweet? Hazel Elliott stands near the chair, ostensibly examining a nearby wreath display, but I know better. That woman has radar for emotionally significant moments. She's wearing her usual elegant winter coat and that charm bracelet that jingles with every movement, and her eyes are fixed on me with an expression that says I heard every word, and we will be discussing this later. Toby doesn't notice her. He's waiting for my answer. Toby, I say slowly, choosing my words with care. I can't promise miracles. but I can promise that I'll do my best to make this a good Christmas for you and your mom. Okay? His face lights up. It's the first real smile I've seen from him. Really? Really? Now, is there anything you'd like for yourself? Just one thing? He thinks for a moment, then shakes his head. Just Mom being happy. That's all I want. This kid is going to break my heart. You're a good son, Toby. Your mom is very lucky to have you. He starts to climb down, then pauses. Santa? Thank you for listening. Anytime, buddy. He hops down and walks back toward his coloring station, and I watch him go, my chest tight with an emotion I can't quite name. That, Hazel says quietly, moving closer now that Toby's out of earshot, was quite possibly the sweetest and saddest thing I've heard in a long time. I pull off one of the white gloves and run a hand over my face, forgetting about the beard. You heard? Every word. She settles onto the arm of the chair, uninvited but somehow appropriate. That poor child. And that poor woman. I don't even know what happened. Why they left wherever they came from. Why she's so, I search for the word. Wounded? Hazel supplies gently. That's one word for it. Does it matter? She tilts her head, studying me. You're already invested, Wyatt. I can see it all over your face. Even under all that ridiculous padding. I hired her 2 days ago. I barely know her. And yet here you are. Hazel. I'm not judging. Her smile is soft, knowing. I'm calling it like I see it. Every time that girl is nearby, you light up. That's ridiculous. Is it? She gestures toward where Stella is now crouched beside Toby, examining his coloring with genuine interest. Even from here, I can see the way she touches his hair, the gentle attention she gives him despite clearly being exhausted. When was the last time you looked at someone like that? Like what? Like you want to protect them. Hazel's voice is kind but firm. Don't tell me you haven't noticed, Wyatt. You're many things, but oblivious isn't one of them. I want to argue. I want to tell her she's reading too much into basic human decency. But watching Stella, I can't deny there's something there. Something I have no business feeling for an employee I've known for 48 hours. She's struggling, I say instead. That's all I know. She needs this job, and she's working hard, and her kid is sweet. I'm just trying to be a good employer. Hazel pats my shoulder, her charm bracelet jingling. Well, good employer, you've got more children walking up. But do me a favor? What? Pay attention. Sometimes the universe puts people in our path for a reason. She stands, adjusting her coat. And sometimes a little boy's Christmas wish is exactly the nudge we need. She walks away before I can respond, leaving me in the Santa chair with a heart that won't stop racing. I force myself to focus. To smile at the next child, to listen to her request for art supplies and a kitten. But my attention keeps drifting across the barn. I watch as Stella finishes with her customer and turns to Toby, who's holding up a drawing for her inspection. She crouches down to his level, and even from here I can see the effort it takes for her to smile. It's there, but underneath it is exhaustion that runs bone deep. She deserves more than tired smiles and constant worry. Toby deserves a mother who's not carrying the world on her shoulders. And I want to be the person who helps lift that weight. Wyatt? My mother's voice cuts through my thoughts. She's approaching with a clipboard, her expression professional. We need to talk about the delivery schedule for next week. Right. Yeah. I stand, the Santa suit suddenly feeling too warm. Change first. I'll meet you in the office. She pauses, following my gaze to where Stella and Toby are gathering their things. She's working out well. She is. Toby seems like a sweet boy. He is. Mom studies me for a long moment, and I can feel the assessment happening. She's protective, my mother. Has been ever since everything fell apart with Rachel. since I came home broken and she had to watch me piece myself back together. Don't get too attached, she says quietly. You don't know their situation. I'm not attached. I barely know them. You're a terrible liar. Her voice is gentle. Just be careful, sweetheart. That's all I'm saying.
Chapter 3. Stella. My fingers fumble with the apron strings for the third time. I worked retail for 3 years. This should be simple. But my hands won't stop shaking. The gift barn smells like cinnamon and pine this morning, warm despite the December cold seeping through the walls. Early sunlight filters through the windows, catching dust motes and making the glass ornaments sparkle. It's beautiful. Peaceful. I finally get the apron tied and smooth it down 3 times, checking that it's even. Good morning. I turn to find Marianne emerging from the back room, a box balanced on her hip. She's dressed in layers and her silver hair is pulled back in a neat bun. Right on time, she says, setting the box on the main counter. I appreciate punctuality. Of course. My voice comes out steadier than I feel. Let's begin with restocking. She sets the box on the main counter with practiced ease. We had a busy weekend, and several displays need refreshing. Ornaments especially. People can't seem to resist the hand-blown glass ones. I follow her to the ornament wall, where gaps in the display show exactly which pieces sold. She's right. The delicate glass snowflakes and icicles are nearly gone, while the wooden and ceramic options remain well stocked. The vendor drops off new inventory every Monday, Marianne explains, pulling tissue-wrapped ornaments from the box. These need to be unwrapped, inspected for damage, priced, and displayed. I usually group them by color and style, but if you have other ideas, I'm open to suggestions. The invitation feels like a test. I take one of the ornaments, a stunning glass ball with swirls of blue and silver inside, and turn it carefully in my hands, checking for chips or cracks. This is beautiful work, I say quietly. Is the artist local? She is. Hannah has been supplying us for years. Marianne watches me handle the piece, and I'm conscious of her assessment. Wyatt's grandmother discovered her and convinced her to let us carry her work. She had good taste. She did. Something softens in Marianne's expression. Grace built most of what you see here. The gift barn was her project. Her passion. I unwrap another ornament, forcing my hands to stay steady. I'll be careful with everything. I know how important this place is. Marianne studies me for a moment longer, then nods. I can see that. Wyatt said you had an eye for detail. Let's see what you can do. She leaves me with the box and moves to help a customer who's just entered, and I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. The work is soothing once I find my rhythm. Unwrap, inspect, price, display. Each ornament gets individual attention. I group them by color first. Blues and silvers together, reds and golds in another section, clear crystal pieces catching the light near the window. Then I arrange them by size, creating visual flow that draws the eye naturally from one section to the next. I'm so focused I don't notice Wyatt until he speaks. You're reorganizing again. I spin around, nearly dropping the ornament in my hand. He's standing a few feet away, arms crossed, leaning against one of the support beams. His flannel is dark green today, worn soft at the elbows, and there's sawdust in his hair like he's been working with the trees. I'm sorry. The apology is automatic. Your mother said I could arrange them how I thought best, but if you'd prefer. Stella. He says my name gently, like he's calming a spooked animal. I wasn't criticizing. It looks great. Oh. Heat creeps up my neck. Thank you. He moves closer, examining my work with the same careful attention I gave the ornaments. You've grouped them differently than Mom usually does. Like you're telling a story with the colors. I hadn't thought of it that way, but he's right. The arrangement flows from cool winter blues through warm holiday reds to pure crystalline whites, like watching snow fall and settle and transform into something magical. I just thought it might be easier for customers to find what they're looking for, I say, deflecting the compliment. If they come in knowing they want blue ornaments, they can see all the options at once. Smart. Wyatt picks up one of the glass snowflakes, holding it up to catch the morning light. Hannah makes these, did you know? Hannah? Hannah Colton. She runs a small studio in town. He sets the snowflake down carefully. She moved here with her son. How long have you been doing this? I ask. The farm, I mean. Running it. Officially? 3 years since Grandma Grace passed. But I've been working here my whole life. Grew up in those tree groves. He gestures toward the windows, where rows of evergreens stretch into the distance. Pop used to say I learned to walk between the Fraser firs. It must be nice. Having roots like that. It is. He looks at me then, really looks, and I feel exposed under his gaze. What about you? Where are your roots? Nowhere. Everywhere. We moved around a lot when I was growing up, I say instead, which is true enough. Military family. Never stayed anywhere long enough to put down roots. That must have been hard. You get used to it. I turn back to the ornaments, needing something to do with my hands. You learn to adapt. To not get too attached. The words hang in the air between us, heavier than I intended. Stella. I should finish this. I reach for another box at the same moment Wyatt does, and our hands collide. The contact is brief. Accidental. Just knuckles brushing against calloused palms. But I feel it everywhere. We both jerk back like we've been burned. I clutch my hands against my stomach, and Wyatt shoves his in his pockets, and for a moment we just stand there in awkward silence. Sorry, we say simultaneously. I was just going to, Wyatt starts. I need to. The box, Wyatt finally says, his voice rough. I was going to move it out of your way. Right. Thank you. He picks it up, muscles flexing under the flannel, and carries it to the back room without another word. I stand frozen, staring at my hands like they might explain what just happened. It was nothing. An accident. So why is my heart racing like I've run a mile? Everything all right? Marianne appears beside me, her expression neutral but her eyes too knowing. Fine. Yes. I grab another ornament, focus on unwrapping it with more care than necessary. Marianne doesn't push, just nods and moves to greet a customer who's browsing the wreath display. But I feel her attention, the way she tracks my movements even while helping someone else. The morning passes in a blur of customers and questions and careful efficiency. I help a young couple choose ornaments for their first Christmas together, suggesting pieces that complement each other without being too matchy. I guide an elderly woman through the process of selecting ribbon and greenery for a wreath she wants to make herself. I restock, rearrange, answer questions about local artisans and whether we ship and when the next wreath workshop is scheduled. I'm good at this. The realization surprises me. Not just competent, but actually good. I can read what customers want before they fully articulate it. Can suggest options that make their faces light up. By afternoon Marianne and I fall into an easy rhythm. She handles the register and more complex customer questions while I restock and assist with selections. She's patient with my questions, offering guidance without making me feel incompetent. Around 3:30, she touches my arm gently. You're doing well. Really well. The compliment catches me off guard. Thank you. Grace would have liked you. Marianne's smile is sad but genuine. She had a gift for seeing people. For knowing who belonged here. I don't know what to say to that, so I just nod. Why don't you take your break? Marianne continues. 15 minutes. There's fresh coffee in the back, and I think there are still some of Belle's cookies left. I'm fine. I can keep working. Stella. She says it kindly but firmly. Take the break. I'm heading toward the break room when the barn door opens and Pop shuffles in, his hand resting gently on Toby's shoulder. My son's backpack is askew, his coat unzipped despite the cold, and there's a bright smile on his face that makes my chest tight. Mom. He spots me and starts forward, then remembers himself and stays close to Pop. Pop met me at the bus stop, right at the entrance to the farm. I freeze, caught between gratitude and panic. He did? Hope that's all right, Pop says easily, his eyes kind. Saw the bus pull up to drop off the Hendersons' kids and figured Toby might appreciate a friendly face for the walk up the driveway. It's a fair bit of distance for little legs. You didn't have to do that. The words come out more sharply than I intend. I was going to. I know you were. Pop's expression doesn't change, doesn't judge. But I was already heading that way to check on some trees near the entrance, and it seemed silly to let the boy walk alone when I was right there. Toby looks between us, confusion flickering across his face. Is it okay, Mom? Pop said we could work on the bird he promised to teach me. My throat tightens. Of course Toby would love this. It's very kind of Pop, I manage. I just don't want to be a burden. Burden? Pop actually laughs, warm and genuine. Having company is a gift at my age. And this young man here has questions about woodworking that I'm only too happy to answer. If anything, he's doing me a favor. Toby beams at that, standing a little taller. I look at my son's happy face, at Pop's patient kindness, and feel the familiar war inside me. Accept help and risk the eventual letdown, or refuse and teach Toby that we can't trust anyone. Thank you. That's very thoughtful. My pleasure. Pop's hand is still on Toby's shoulder, steady and sure. We'll be at the workbench if you need us. Come along, Toby. I've got a piece of pine that'll be perfect for your bird. He's good with kids. I turn to find Wyatt standing beside me, his voice low. He's watching Toby and Pop with an expression so soft it makes my throat tight. He is, I manage. Pop raised 3 kids and helped with 4 grandkids. He knows how to make them feel special without making a fuss about it. Wyatt shifts slightly. Toby seems happy here. He does. I can't deny it, even though admitting it feels like giving something away. That bothers you. It's not a question, and the accuracy of it makes me defensive. No. Of course not. I want him to be happy. But you're scared of what happens if he gets too attached. I look at Wyatt then, really look, and find nothing but understanding in his eyes. I don't know you well enough to have this conversation, I say quietly. Fair enough. He doesn't push, doesn't probe. But Pop wouldn't have offered if he didn't mean it. The words settle somewhere in my chest, warm and uncomfortable. I should take my break, I say, needing distance from his steady gaze and gentle perception. Yeah. Okay. Wyatt steps back. Coffee's fresh. I escape to the break room and sink into one of the mismatched chairs, my hands wrapped around a cup of coffee I don't really want. Through the small window, I can see the tree grove stretching toward the mountains, rows of evergreens standing patient and permanent. Roots. That's what Wyatt has here. What Pop built. What this whole place represents. The kind of deep, unshakable belonging I've never had. The door opens and Wyatt leans against the frame. He's holding a plate with 2 cookies. Thought you might want these. Belle's gingerbread is legendary. Thank you. I take one because refusing feels rude. He settles into the chair across from me, and we sit in silence for a moment. It should be awkward, but somehow it's not. You did really well today, Wyatt says finally. Mom told me you're a natural at this. She did? She did. Despite myself, I smile. She's been very patient with my questions. Questions are good. He pauses. Though you seem to care almost too much. Like you're afraid of making a single mistake. The observation is too close to the truth. I take a bite of cookie to avoid responding. Stella, Wyatt says gently. You don't have to be perfect here. You just have to try. I know. Do you? He leans forward slightly, elbows on the table. Because I keep watching you apologize for existing. For taking up space. For asking reasonable questions or needing normal things. Like accepting help when Pop offers to meet Toby's bus. My hands tighten around the coffee cup. I don't want to be a burden. Why would you be a burden? Because the words stick in my throat. Because that's what I was told. That needing things makes you difficult. Asking for help makes you weak and taking up space is selfish. Wyatt's expression shifts, something dark and protective flickering across his features. Who told you that? I shake my head. It doesn't matter. It does. His voice is quiet but firm. Because whoever it was, they were wrong. You don't know that. I know enough. He doesn't break eye contact. I know you're a good mother. I know you work hard and care about details and try to make things easier for everyone around you. And I know you're kind to customers and patient with questions and that you made the ornament display look better in 2 hours than it has in months. That's just doing my job. It's more than that. He runs a hand through his hair, frustrated. And I need you to understand something. Needing help doesn't make you a burden. It makes you human. And asking for things you need isn't selfish. Tears burn behind my eyes. I blink them back furiously. I should get back to work. You have 8 more minutes. He doesn't move. And I'm not trying to push you. I just want you to know that you're allowed to accept help when it's offered. The words hit something deep inside me, something I've kept carefully locked away. In my experience, I say quietly, kindness always has conditions. They're just not always visible at first. Not here. Wyatt's voice is gentle but certain. Not at Gracewood Pines. Not with my family. And not with me. I want to believe him. I do. But I've been wrong before about what kindness means and what it costs. I should check on Toby, I say, standing. Stella. Thank you for the cookie. I leave before he can say anything else. After looking in on my son, I throw myself into work. Keeping my hands busy. Anything to stop thinking about Wyatt's words and the dangerous hope they spark. Around 5, Marianne appears beside me. You're welcome to leave now if you'd like. It slowed down. I can stay until 5:30. Stella. She touches my arm gently. Go collect your son. Spend the evening with him. You've done excellent work today, and you've more than earned an early finish. The kindness in her voice is almost too much. Are you sure? Positive. And Stella? She waits until I meet her eyes. Pop meant what he said about meeting Toby's bus. He's been hoping for an excuse to get out more often. You'd actually be doing him a favor by letting him continue. I don't want to impose. You're not. Her smile is knowing. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do is let other people help us. I don't know how to respond to that, so I just nod and collect my things. I find Toby at Pop's workbench, bent over a piece of wood that's taking the shape of a small bird. His tongue is caught between his teeth in concentration, and there's sawdust in his hair. Mom. He looks up, face glowing. Look. I'm almost done. The bird is rough but recognizable with wings, tail, a small head. Pop has clearly guided most of the work, but Toby's pride is genuine. That's beautiful, sweetheart. Pop says I'm a natural. Toby beams at the elderly man, who winks at him. Indeed he is. Got steady hands and patience. Those are the marks of a good craftsman. Can I finish it? Toby asks me. We're so close, and Pop says just 5 more minutes. I glance at Pop, who nods encouragingly. 5 minutes. Then we need to head home. I watch them work together, Pop's weathered hands guiding Toby's smaller ones with infinite patience. All done, Pop announces, and Toby holds up the finished bird with pride. It's wonderful, I say honestly. You did such a good job. Pop helped. I mostly supervised, Pop corrects gently. You did the real work, son. We gather Toby's things, and I help him into his coat, Pop watching us with knowing eyes. Thank you, I tell him. For meeting the bus. For keeping Toby entertained. For teaching him. The pleasure was entirely mine. Pop pats Toby's shoulder. Same time tomorrow? Toby looks at me hopefully, and I feel the trap close around my heart. How can I say no when my son is this happy? If Pop doesn't mind, I say carefully. Wouldn't have offered if I minded. Pop's smile is warm. See you tomorrow, Toby. We'll start carving that whistle. As we walk to the car, Toby chatters about his day. What he learned, what Pop said, what he wants to make next. His happiness is infectious, filling the cold December air with warmth. Mom, he says as I buckle him into his seat. I really like it here. Me too, sweetheart. And that's the problem. I really, really like it here.
Chapter 4. Wyatt. The lanterns are perfect. I stand at the edge of the candlelit grove, checking each one for the third time. Paper luminarias line the walking path, their soft glow already visible in the gathering dusk. The candlelit tree walk is Pop's favorite tradition. Grandma Grace started the first year they opened the farm, and there's no way I let anything go wrong. You've checked those lights 4 times, Pop observes from his post near the entrance. He's bundled in his heavy coat, a thermos of coffee in his gloved hands. They're not going to rearrange themselves. Just being thorough. You're anxious. He takes a sip of coffee, eyes twinkling. Wouldn't have anything to do with a certain brown-haired woman and her son being on tonight's guest list, would it? I invited all employees. Which is true. Technically. Pop's knowing look is infuriating. And the fact that you've mentioned Stella approximately 17 times this week is purely coincidental. I haven't. I stop, realizing he's baiting me. She's doing good work. I'm allowed to notice that. You're noticing more than her work, son. He's not wrong, and we both know it. Ever since Toby's whispered wish, I haven't been able to stop thinking about them. Stella with her careful movements and exhausted eyes. Toby with his too serious face and desperate hope for his mother's happiness. I've been paying attention. I've noticed how Stella always arrives exactly on time. How she brings her lunch in a warm canvas bag and eats alone in the break room, reading a paperback with cracked spine. How she checks on Toby every 20 minutes when he's with Pop, like she's afraid something will go wrong if she looks away too long. I've noticed how she lights up when helping customers choose the perfect ornament, her whole face transforming with genuine pleasure at their joy. How she hums softly when she thinks no one's listening, old Christmas songs that seem to slip out without her permission. I've noticed the way she flinches slightly when anyone raises their voice, even in laughter. How she apologizes for things that don't need apologies. How she holds herself like she's trying to take up less space in the world. And I've noticed how beautiful she is when she smiles. Really smiles, not the careful expression she wears like armor. The rare moments when something genuinely delights her and she forgets to guard herself. Yeah. I'm noticing way too much. She's been through something, I say to Pop, keeping my voice low even though we're alone. Her and Toby both. I don't know what, but it left marks. Most things worth surviving do. Pop's voice is gentle. Question is, what are you planning to do about it? Nothing. I'm her employer. That's all. Is it? Yes. The word comes out too forcefully. She works for me. She needs this job. The last thing she needs is her boss developing feelings. And what if she's developing the same feelings? My chest tightens at the thought. She's not. You sure about that? Pop sets down his thermos and fixes me with the look that's always been able to see straight through me. Because I've been watching too, Wyatt. And I've seen the way she looks at you when she thinks you're not paying attention. How does she look at me? Like she wants to trust you and it terrifies her. His expression softens. Like she's drawn to something safe and doesn't know what to do with that feeling. Safe. The word lodges somewhere near my heart. The walk starts in 15 minutes, I say, changing the subject. We should light the last luminarias. Pop doesn't push, just nods and helps me work. We move through the grove together, lighting each paper lantern with practiced efficiency. The candles flicker to life one by one, transforming the walking path into something magical. Warm light pools on snow-dusted ground. Shadows dance between the trees. The whole grove seems to glow from within. Families start arriving as we finish. I recognize most of them. They are regular customers and longtime friends. People who've been coming to Gracewood Pines since I was a kid. They bundle their children in scarves and mittens, pressing cups of hot cocoa into small hands, chattering excitedly about the tradition they've come to expect. Mrs. Henderson waves as she passes with her grandchildren. The Patterson family stops to admire the entrance display. Hazel is there in her wool coat, her charm bracelet jingling as she greets people with her signature warmth. And then I see Stella. She's standing near the barn entrance with Toby, both of them bundled against the cold. Her coat is the same one she wore to the interview and her hair is down tonight, curling softly around her face. Toby clutches her hand, his eyes wide as he takes in the glowing grove. I make my way toward them before I can think better of it. You came, I say, and immediately feel stupid. Of course they came. I invited them. We did. Stella's smile is tentative. I hope it's okay. Of course. I invited you. I crouch down to Toby's level. What do you think, buddy? Are you ready to see the trees all lit up? Toby nods, still shy around me despite our Santa interaction. Mom says it's like walking through a fairy tale. Your mom's right. I stand, and my eyes meet Stella's. It's one of my favorite traditions. My grandma started it the first year they opened the farm. She said Christmas should feel magical, especially for kids. It already looks magical, Stella says softly, and there's wonder in her voice that makes my heart beat faster. Wait until you're in the middle of it. I gesture toward the grove. The path winds through the Douglas firs and comes out near the fire pit. It takes about 20 minutes if you go slow. Stella glances around at the other families gathering. We don't want to hold anyone up. You won't. The words come out before I can stop them. Actually, I was going to walk through myself to make sure everything's working properly. Would you both like to join me? Stella hesitates. Please, Mom? Toby tugs her hand. Can we go with Wyatt? If it's not an imposition, Stella says carefully. Not even a little. I extend my hand toward the path. Shall we? The grove entrance is marked by 2 larger lanterns, their warm glow welcoming. We step onto the path, and the outside world fades away. The luminarias create pools of light every few feet, guiding the way while leading the spaces between in soft shadow. Above us, the Douglas firs tower, their branches dark against the deepening sky. Wow, Toby breathes. Yeah, I agree. Wow. We walk in comfortable silence for a moment, our footsteps crunching softly on the packed snow. Other families are scattered throughout the grove, voices and laughter floating through the trees, but somehow it feels intimate. Private. This is beautiful, Stella says quietly. Grandma designed the path herself. Made sure it wound through the oldest trees, the ones with the most character. I point to a massive Douglas fir on our left, its trunk scarred and weathered. See that one? It's been here longer than the farm. Pop said she used to sit under it when she needed to think. It must be hard, Stella says. Keeping this place going without her. It is. But it also feels like the best way to honor her. I duck under a low-hanging branch and hold it back so Stella and Toby can pass. She poured herself into Gracewood Pines. Every tradition, every detail. Running it the way she would have wanted keeps her close. Stella looks at me with an expression I can't quite read. Soft and thoughtful. Like she's seeing something she didn't expect. What? I ask. Nothing. Just, she shakes her head. You talk about her with so much love. It's nice. She was easy to love. We round a bend in the path, and the trees open up slightly, revealing a clear view of the mountains in the distance. The last light of sunset paints them purple and gold, and stars are just beginning to appear overhead. Look, Mom. Toby stops, pointing at the sky. The first star. Make a wish, Stella says automatically, and something in her voice catches. Toby closes his eyes, his small face scrunched in concentration. I wonder if he's wishing for the same thing he asked Santa for. If he's carrying that hope close to his heart. When he opens his eyes, he looks up at me. Did you make a wish too? I did. What did you wish for? Can't tell, I say gently. Then it won't come true. That's what Mom always says. Toby seems satisfied with this answer. He starts walking again, but this time, instead of reaching for Stella's hand, he reaches for mine. The gesture is so natural, so unconscious, that I don't think he realizes he's done it. His small gloved hand slips into mine like it belongs there, trusting and certain. I glance at Stella and find her watching us. Her eyes are bright, and she's biting her lower lip like she's trying to hold back emotion. Our eyes meet under the lantern glow. She doesn't look away. Neither do I. For a moment, it's just us in this bubble of warm light and cold air and the weight of a small hand in mine. The world narrows to Stella's face, soft and vulnerable in the flickering glow. To the ache in my chest that has nothing to do with the cold and everything to do with wanting something I have no right to want. A family with 3 children comes around the bend behind us, their laughter breaking the moment. Stella blinks and looks away, color rising in her cheeks. We keep walking. Mom, look! Toby pulls us toward one of the luminarias. There's a star on this one. He's right. One of the paper lanterns has a hand-drawn star on its side, different from the plain ones lining the rest of the path. My grandmother used to put stars on random lanterns, I explain. Said finding one was good luck. Made the walk feel like a treasure hunt for kids. Did you find them when you were little? Toby asks. Every time. I got so good at it that Grandma started hiding them better. I smile at the memory. One year she put one so high in a tree I had to climb up to see it. My mom nearly had a heart attack. Stella laughs and the sound wraps around me like warmth. I would climb up too, Toby says seriously. If I knew there was a star, I'd find it. I bet you would. When we reach the end of the grove, the path opens onto the fire pit area. Flames dance in the stone circle, and families gather around it with marshmallows and cocoa. Pop is there, overseeing the scene with his usual gentle authority, and Mom is helping some of the younger kids with their roasting sticks. Toby spots him and lights up. Can I go tell Pop about the star we found? Of course, Stella says, and just like that, Toby releases my hand and runs toward the fire pit. We stand at the grove's edge, the luminarias behind us, the fire ahead, and everything feels suspended. Possible. Thank you, Stella says quietly. For inviting us. For walking with us. Her voice catches. Toby has been so happy this week. Happier than I've seen him in a long time. He's a great kid. He likes you. She's looking at the fire pit, not at me. He doesn't warm up to people easily. But with you and Pop, it's different. I like him too. I hesitate, then add, and I like having you both here. At the farm. Now she looks at me, and her eyes are uncertain. Wyatt. I know. I cut her off gently, before she can say whatever's about to create distance. I know this is complicated. I'm your boss. You just started. There are a dozen reasons why this, whatever this is, probably isn't a good idea. Then why does it feel like it is? The question is barely a whisper. I don't know. But I do know. Because standing here with her, watching Toby laugh with Pop by the fire, my hand still warm from holding his, it feels like something I've been missing without realizing it. Maybe because some things are worth the risk. I'm not good at risk. Stella wraps her arms around herself. I'm good at careful. At not letting anyone close enough to hurt you. She nods, and I see the weight of whatever she survived in the set of her shoulders. I'm not going to hurt you, I say. I care too much about both of you. Why? The question sounds almost desperate. Why do you care? Because Toby asked Santa to make his mother smile. Because I see how hard you're working to hold everything together, and when you laugh, really laugh, it's the most beautiful sound I've ever heard. Because you matter, I say instead. Both of you. And I hope Gracewood Pines matters to you too. Stella's eyes fill with tears. She blinks them back, but not before I see the emotion there. The longing. The fear. The fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, this could be real. It does, she whispers. That's the problem. Before I can respond, Mom appears at my elbow. Wyatt, we need you at the fire pit. She stops, noticing Stella. Her expression shifts, something guarded sliding into place. Oh. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. You're not. Stella steps back, creating distance. I should check on Toby anyway. She walks away quickly, heading toward the fire pit where Toby is showing Pop something in his cupped hands. Probably a pine cone or interesting piece of bark. Pop leans in close to examine it with the same serious attention he'd give a rare gem. Everything all right? Mom asks, but there's concern in her voice. Fine. I walk them through the grove. She studies my face with the same assessing look she's had since I was a child. Be careful, Wyatt. Careful of what? Of getting too involved. She touches my arm gently. She's an employee. A new one. And she has complications. Her son isn't a complication. I didn't say he was. Mom's voice is patient but firm. I'm just saying that you don't know her situation. What she's running from. What kind of baggage she's carrying. After what happened with you and Rachel. This isn't the same as Rachel. Isn't it? You're getting attached to someone who might not stay. Someone who clearly has her own struggles to work through. She squeezes my arm. I don't want to see you hurt again. I want to argue and tell her she's wrong. Maybe I am getting attached, I admit. But maybe that's not a bad thing. It is if she leaves. If she decides Juniper Falls isn't for her, or the job isn't working out, or Mom stops, searching for words. I just want you to protect yourself. That's all I'm asking. I'll be careful. It's the only promise I can make. But I'm not going to stop caring just because it might hurt later. Mom sighs, but she doesn't push further. I follow her to the fire pit, but my attention keeps drifting to where Stella stands with Toby. She's helping him roast a marshmallow, her hand steady over his, and she's smiling at something he's saying. The firelight catches in her hair, turning the brown to amber and gold. Pop catches my eye and winks, like he knows exactly what I'm thinking. Around 8, families start heading home. The candlelit tree walk winds down, parents gathering sleepy children and thanking us for the tradition. Stella appears with Toby, who's yawning despite his best efforts to stay awake. We should go, she says. Past bedtime. I'm not tired, Toby protests, then yawns hugely. Sure you're not. I crouch down to his level. Thanks for coming tonight, buddy. Did you have fun? Yes. He throws his arms around my neck in an unexpected hug, and I freeze for just a second before wrapping my arms around him carefully. Can we do it again? We do the candlelit walk every Friday in December. You're welcome anytime. Every Friday? He pulls back to look at me with wide eyes. Really? Really? I glance at Stella. If that's okay with your mom. She nods, something soft in her expression. I stand, and Toby immediately grabs Stella's hand, swaying slightly with exhaustion. Drive safe. The roads can get icy. We will. Stella hesitates, then adds quietly, thank you for tonight. Anytime. Pop materializes beside me as I watch them drive off. That looked like it went well. Don't start. Wasn't going to say a word. His smile says otherwise. Mom's worried I'm getting too attached. Your mother's worried you'll get your heart broken again. Pop's voice is gentle. She loves you. That's what mothers do. They worry. And what do grandfathers do? Grandfathers pay attention. He claps my shoulder. And what I'm seeing too is a good woman who's been through something hard, and a good man who's got more than enough heart to help her heal. If she'll let him. Big if. Maybe. But I see the way she looks at you. The way she relaxes a little more each day. The way her boy is opening up. He squeezes my shoulder. She's scared. But she's also hoping. And sometimes hope is enough to start with. I look at the empty driveway, at the space where Stella's car was, and feel the weight of Toby's hand goes in mine. I think I'm falling for her, Pop. I know. He says it kindly, without judgment. Question is, what are you going to do about it? I don't know. Be patient, I guess. Give her space. Not push. That's a start. Pop turns toward the barn, then pauses. Don't be so patient you let her slip away.
Chapter 5. Stella. The wreath workshop starts at 7, but I arrive at 6:30 to help set up. Marianne is already here, arranging supplies on the long tables. Spread out in front of me are wire frames, evergreen branches, ribbon spools in every color, pine cones, berries, bells. The barn smells like fresh cut pine and cinnamon, and Christmas music plays softly from speakers I can't see. You didn't have to come early, Marianne says, but there's approval in her tone. I wanted to. I hang my coat and tie on my apron. I've never done one of these before. I thought I'd learn the setup. It's fairly straightforward. We provide the materials and basic instruction, then let people create whatever speaks to them. She hands me a basket of ribbon. Can you set one of these on each table? And make sure there are enough wire cutters. I move through the space, distributing supplies. It soothes something in me, this act of preparation. Making things ready for people to create something beautiful. Other staff members trickle in. 2 women I recognize from weekend shifts, and a teenage girl who works part-time. They greet me with friendly waves, and I manage to return them without the usual anxiety that comes with being new. I'm starting to feel like I belong here. The thought is both wonderful and terrifying. By 7, the barn is filling with participants. They settle at tables in groups of 3 or 4, chattering excitedly as they examine the supplies. Marianne steps to the front of the room, and the conversation's quiet. Welcome to our wreath workshop, she says warmly. For those who haven't joined us before, the process is simple. Choose your base, add your greenery, secure it with wire, then decorate however you'd like. We're here to help, so don't hesitate to ask questions. She demonstrates the basic technique. How to attach branches to the wire frame, how to layer them for fullness, and how to secure ribbon without it slipping. Her hands move with practiced confidence, and within minutes she's created the skeleton of a beautiful wreath. Now it's your turn, she says. Have fun. Be creative. There's no wrong way to do this. The room buzzes with activity. People reach for branches and ribbons, some with clear visions, others tentatively experimenting. I move between tables, helping where I can. At one table, a woman is struggling to get her branches to lay flat. I watch for a moment, then gently intervene. May I? I ask, and when she nods, I adjust the angle of her greenery. If you attach them pointing slightly downward instead of straight out, they'll cascade better. See? Oh. Her face lights up. That's so much better. Thank you. At another table, a young couple debates ribbon colors. The man wants red, the woman wants gold, and they're heading toward playful argument territory. What if you used both? I suggest. Alternate them, or do a pattern. Red and gold is classic Christmas. That's genius, the woman says. It's just ribbon, I demur, but I'm smiling. I work my way around the room, and something strange happens. I'm enjoying it. The creative problem solving, the small moments of connection, the way people's faces light up when something clicks. You're a natural. I turn to find Wyatt standing behind me, holding 2 cups of cider. He shed his heavy coat and rolled up his flannel sleeves, and there's a softness in his expression that makes my heart skip. Just doing my job, I say. You're doing more than that. He hands me one of the cups. I've been watching you work the room. You have this way of seeing what people need before they ask for it. Heat creeps up my neck. It's not that special. It is to them. He nods toward the woman whose branches I adjusted. She's adding ribbon now, her wreath taking beautiful shape. And it is to me. I don't know what to say to that, so I take a sip of cider to hide my confusion. Have you made a wreath yet? Wyatt asks. No. I'm working. You're allowed to participate too, you know. He gestures to an empty spot at a nearby table. Come on. Take a break. Make something. I should keep helping. Stella. He says it gently. Make a wreath. It's not a suggestion. It's not quite an order either. Something in between that makes me set down my cider and follow him to the table. The supplies are overwhelming up close. So many options, so many choices. I reach for a wire frame, then hesitate. Start simple, Wyatt says, settling onto the stool beside me. Fraser fir is forgiving. Easy to work with. I select several branches and begin attaching them the way Marianne demonstrated. My fingers fumble at first, clumsy with the wire, but gradually I find a rhythm. Wrap, twist, secure. The branches layer together, creating fullness and texture. Wyatt works on his own wreath beside me, and we fall into comfortable silence. Just the soft Christmas music and the murmur of other participants and the pleasant focus of creating something with our hands. You're good at this, I observe, watching him add a perfect spiral of ribbon. Lots of practice over the years. His smile is fond. I complained about it as a teenager, but I actually loved it. We work in silence for another few minutes. My wreath is taking shape with Fraser fir and white ribbon and a few sprigs of holly. That's beautiful, Wyatt says quietly. It's nothing special. It's your first wreath. He sets down his own work. And it's beautiful. Don't diminish that. I look at him, really look, and find nothing but sincerity in his eyes. When was the last time someone noticed what I made and called it beautiful? Thank you, I say. You're welcome. He doesn't look away, and the moment stretches between us. Your ribbon is crooked, I say, pointing to his wreath. Wyatt blinks and looks down. What? The spiral. It's uneven. Goes from perfect to chaotic about halfway around. I'm teasing him. Actually teasing. Very unprofessional. His mouth quirks. Are you criticizing my wreath-making abilities? I would never. But I'm smiling now, unable to help it. I'm just noting that for someone with lots of practice, that ribbon placement is interesting. Interesting. He laughs, warm and genuine. That's one word for it. He picks up the ribbon to fix it, and I notice his hands are shaking slightly. From laughter or something else, I can't tell. This is your fault, you know. I was doing fine until you distracted me. I distracted you? Yes. He says it simply, matter-of-factly. You're very distracting. The air between us shifts. I should deflect. Remind us both that I'm his employee and this is a professional setting and I can't afford to let whatever this is become something real. Instead, I say, you're distracting too. Wyatt's eyes darken. His hand stills on the ribbon. Am I? Yes. The word comes out barely above a whisper. We're too close. Close enough that I can see the flecks of gold in his brown eyes. To catch the scent of pine and wood smoke that seems to cling to him always. close enough that if either of us leaned forward just slightly. Wyatt. Marianne's voice cuts through the moment. Can I see you for a moment? We both jerk back. Wyatt runs a hand through his hair, and I focus intently on my wreath, my heart racing. Yeah. Sure. He stands, and his hand brushes my shoulder briefly. I'll be right back. I watch him walk to where Marianne stands near the supply table, and even from here, I can see the tension in her posture. She keeps her voice low, but her expression is serious. She glances in my direction, and something cold settles in my stomach. She's talking about me. I force myself to focus on my wreath, adding holly with shaking hands. Around me, other participants laugh and create and enjoy themselves, but I can't shake the feeling of being watched. A woman asks for help with her ribbon, and I assist automatically, my smile feeling wooden. When Wyatt returns 15 minutes later, there's something careful in his expression. Guarded. Everything okay? I ask, though I'm not sure I want to know the answer. Fine. Just logistics for next week. But he doesn't quite meet my eyes. The ease between us is gone, replaced by something awkward and strained. We finish our wreaths in near silence, the comfortable rapport shattered. I should help clean up, I say as soon as my wreath is complete. Stella. It's fine. Really. I stand before he can say whatever's about to come next. Thank you for the cider. And for encouraging me to make something. I move away quickly, gathering abandoned supplies and tidying tables. Marianne works on the other side of the room, efficiently directing the cleanup. She doesn't look at me and doesn't seek me out. The message is clear. Whatever I thought was building between Wyatt and me is not acceptable. Not appropriate. By the time the barn is clean and the last participants have left, I'm exhausted. Not physically, but emotionally. The whiplash of feeling competent and valued and then seeing that concern in Marianne's eyes has left me hollowed out. Good work tonight, Marianne says as I'm preparing to leave. Thank you. Though, she pauses, choosing words carefully. I hope you're keeping appropriate boundaries. With everyone. Of course, I say, my voice steady despite the tightness in my chest. Always professional. She nods, seemingly satisfied. Good. I'll see you Monday. I collect my things and step out into the December cold, pulling my coat tight. My wreath is still inside, but I can't make myself go back for it. Not when going back means seeing Wyatt. I'm halfway to my car when I hear footsteps behind me. Stella, wait. Wyatt. I stop but don't turn around, my keys clutched in my hand. Please, he says quietly. Give me a minute. I turn slowly, and he's standing a few feet away, my forgotten wreath in his hands. You left this, he says. Thank you. I reach for it, but he doesn't let go immediately. Whatever my mom said to you. She didn't say anything. Just reminded me about professional boundaries. I tug the wreath gently, and he releases it. Which is appropriate. I'm your employee. You're more than that. The words hang between us, dangerous and true. I can't be, I say softly. You know I can't be. Why not? I search for words that will make him understand without revealing too much. Because I need this job. Toby needs stability. And getting involved with my boss is the definition of complicated, and complicated is exactly what I can't afford right now. What if it's not complicated? He stops, frustrated. What if it's just two people who like each other? It's never that simple. I hold the wreath against my chest like a shield. Not with me. You can't promise that. No one can. He looks at me with an expression that makes my chest ache. You're right. I can't promise everything will work out perfectly. But I can promise I'll try. That I'll be honest. That I won't make you feel small or incapable or less than you are. The words sound eerily familiar. He had said something similar at first. I should go. Toby's with a neighbor, and I don't want to be late. I start toward my car. Stella. But I'm already in my car, starting the engine, pulling away before Wyatt can say whatever's going to make this harder.
Chapter 6. Wyatt. I'm helping a family secure their Fraser fur to their car roof when I see Stella's sedan pull into the parking lot. She's been avoiding me since the wreath workshop. She still shows up for her shifts, of course, and still does excellent work. But there's distance now. I hate it. Toby climbs out of the passenger side, bundled in his blue puffy coat, and even from here I can see his excitement. He spots me and waves enthusiastically. Stella emerges more slowly, and when our eyes meet across the parking lot, something flickers in her expression. Want and fear tangled together. Then she looks away. I finish securing the tree and make my way toward them, trying not to seem too eager. Trying to respect the boundaries she's drawn even though every instinct I have wants to cross them. Hey, buddy, I say to Toby. You here for a tree? Yes. He bounces on his toes. Mom said we could get one today. A real one, not like the fake one we had before. A real tree is always better. I glance at Stella, who's studying the ground like it holds answers. Any idea what kind you're looking for? The Christmas white kind, Toby says seriously, and I have to bite back a smile. That narrows it down. I crouch to his level. What do you think makes a tree Christmas white? Green. And it smells good. And it's not too big for our apartment but not too small either. He looks to Stella for confirmation. Right, Mom? Right. Her voice is soft, careful. We don't have a lot of space, so something manageable. And not too expensive. The last part is said quietly, almost apologetically, and it makes something twist in my chest. I have some ideas, I say, standing. Want me to show you? Stella hesitates. Please? Toby tugs her hand. Wyatt knows all the trees. Okay. She nods, still not quite meeting my eyes. That would be helpful. Thank you. We walk toward the tree groves, Toby between us, chattering about the ornaments he wants to hang and whether they need colored lights or white lights. Stella answers his questions patiently, but I can feel the tension radiating from her. I lead them to a section of Douglas firs. They are a good height, have full branches, and are reasonably priced. These are all between 5 and 6 feet, I explain. Dense enough to hold ornaments but not so full you can't see through them. And they smell amazing. Toby immediately runs to the nearest tree, examining it with intense focus. Stella follows more slowly, her hands shoved in her coat pockets. You don't have to do this, she says quietly. I know you're busy. We can figure it out ourselves. I want to help. I keep my voice low, conscious of Toby nearby. And I'm not busy. It's not entirely true. The farm is packed. But Pop and my dad are handling the other sections, and nothing is more important right now than this. Stella. I wait until she looks at me. I know you're trying to keep your distance. I understand why. But can we just be two people helping a kid find his first real Christmas tree? Her eyes are bright with emotion she's holding back. She doesn't answer, but she doesn't walk away either. Toby runs back to us. Mom, I like this one. But I want to see more before I decide. Is that okay? Of course, sweetheart. We move through the grove, and gradually Stella relaxes. Not completely, but enough that her shoulders drop slightly. Enough that she responds to Toby's enthusiasm with genuine smiles instead of forced ones. Toby rejects 3 trees for various reasons. One is too pointy, one has a weird branch, and one doesn't smell right. I guide him patiently, explaining the differences between Douglas firs and Fraser firs and noble firs, and he absorbs every word with serious attention. This one. He stops in front of a Douglas fir that's maybe 5.5 feet tall, symmetrical and full. This is the one. You sure? I ask. We can keep looking. I'm sure. He looks up at Stella. She examines the tree carefully, and I watch her face transform. The careful mask slips, replaced by something soft and genuine. "It's perfect," she says. "Then this is your tree." I pull the tag to mark it as sold. "Want to help me cut it, Toby?" His eyes go wide. "Really? I can help? If your mom says it's okay." Stella looks between us, and I see the moment she makes a decision. To let this moment be what it is. "Okay," she says. "But be careful." I retrieve a saw from the supply shed and lead Toby to the base of the tree. Stella stands a few feet away, her hands clasped together, watching with an intensity that makes my chest tight. "First rule of tree cutting," I say, kneeling in the snow beside Toby. "Safety. We go slow and steady. No rushing." "Okay." His voice is solemn with responsibility. "The second rule is that the tree tells you where to cut. See here?" I point to the trunk, just above the ground. "This is where we want to saw. Not too high, not too low." He nods, utterly serious, and my heart swells with something I wasn't expecting. "Ready?" I position the saw at the right spot, then place Toby's hands on the handle with mine covering them. "Okay." Push forward gently. Then pull back. That's the rhythm. Push and pull. We move together, my hands guiding his, the saw biting into the wood with each stroke. It's slow, much slower than if I did it myself, but that's not the point. The point is the wonder on Toby's face. The way he looks up at me every few strokes for encouragement. "You're doing great," I tell him. "I'm cutting a tree," he says, "Odd." "You are." I glance at Stella. Our eyes meet, and the moment stretches between us. Full of everything we're not saying. The tree gives with a soft crack, and Toby gasps as it tilts. "We did it!" He's practically vibrating with excitement. "We cut it down." "We did." I steady the tree before it can fall completely. "Good job, buddy. You're a natural." Toby turns to Stella, his face glowing. "Did you see, Mom? Did you see me cut the tree?" "I saw." Her voice is thick with emotion. "You are amazing, sweetheart. Can I tell Pop? He's going to be so proud." "Of course." She swallows hard and blinks like she's trying to disperse a tear. "Why don't you run ahead and find him? We'll bring the tree." Toby takes off toward the barn at a run, and suddenly it's just me and Stella and this tree between us. "Thank you," she says quietly. "For that. For making it special for him. It was my pleasure." I lift the tree, testing its weight. She takes a deep breath. He deserves these moments. To feel important and capable and loved? She nods, not trusting her voice. He has that. I adjust my grip on the tree. "Anyone can see how much you love him." "I'm trying." The words come out broken. I'm trying so hard to give him everything he needs. To be enough for him. To make up for. She stops, but I know what she's not saying. To make up for whatever his father failed to be. "You are enough," I say firmly. "More than enough." And Toby knows that. I can see it every time he looks at you. Sometimes I worry it's not. She wraps her arms around herself. That I'm not teaching him what a family should look like. That he's missing something important by not having a father? A father who wants to be one. Her voice is barely a whisper. His dad sends checks. But he's never asked to see Toby. Never called. Never sent so much as a birthday card. Rage flares hot in my chest. What kind of man has a son like Toby and chooses not to know him? His loss, I say, meaning it. Toby is remarkable. And that's because of you. Or in spite of me. Stella. I set down the tree and move closer, not touching but near enough that she has to look at me. "Stop. Stop tearing yourself down. You're giving him exactly what he needs." "How do you know what he needs?" Because I see him. I hold her gaze. I see how happy he is here. How he's opening up, laughing more, trusting more. That's not happening in spite of you. It's happening because you work hard to give him stability. And you love him enough to let him have these moments even when they scare you. They do scare me. Her voice breaks. Moments like this scare me more than anything. Why? She looks at me with eyes full of pain and hope. Because he's going to remember this. Cutting his first tree with you. And what happens when we leave? When this job ends, or when you realize we're too much work, or when your mother convinces you we're not worth the complication? That's not going to happen. You don't know that. Stella, I'm not trying to push you away. I take a careful step closer. I'm looking for reasons to ask you to stay. She inhales sharply, and for a moment I think she might close the distance between us. Then she steps back. We should get the tree to the car, she says, voice steadier now. Toby will be wondering what's taking so long. I want to push. Want to ask her to trust me, to give us a chance, to stop running from something that could be good. But I don't. Because pushing Stella Monroe will only make her run faster. Help me carry it? I ask, positioning myself at the cut end of the tree. Okay. She moves to the other end, and we lift together. The tree isn't heavy, but it's awkward, requiring us to work in tandem. To adjust our pace to match each other. We walk in silence, and the weight between us has nothing to do with the Douglas fir we're carrying. At her car, I secure the tree to the roof rack, checking the straps twice to make sure it's safe. Stella hovers nearby, and when I finish and turn around, we're standing too close. Close enough that I can see the gold flecks in her brown eyes. Close enough that if I leaned in just slightly. Wyatt. I freeze. I can't, she whispers. Please don't ask me to. I'm not asking anything. I should go, she says, but doesn't move. Okay. Toby's waiting. I know. Wyatt. I know, Stella. I step back, giving her space even though every instinct I have wants to close it. Drive safe. The tree should stay secure. She nods, and we're back to the safe distance of before. I watch her collect her son from Pop's side. Toby waves at me through the window as they pull away, his face bright with happiness. And I stand in the parking lot, watching them leave, feeling like I just let something important slip through my fingers. That was quite a show. I turn to find my mother standing near the barn entrance, her expression carefully neutral. It helped them choose a tree, I say evenly. Same as a dozen other families today. Was it? She moves closer, her voice gentle but firm. Because from where I stood, it looked like something more. Mom. She holds up a hand. I'm just worried. You don't need to. Don't I? Her eyes are sad. Wyatt, you're falling for her. It's written all over your face. And her son is clearly attached to you. But what happens when she decides this isn't what she wants? When she realizes small-town life isn't for her? That's not going to happen. It did with Rachel. The name lands like a blow, and she knows it. This isn't the same, I say tightly. Isn't it? You're getting attached to someone who's clearly struggling. Someone with complicated circumstances. Someone who could upend your life and then leave. She touches my arm gently. I don't want to see you hurt again. Not like last time. I'm not going to get hurt. You're already hurting. She says it kindly. I can see it. You're imagining a future that might not exist. Or might. I pull away from her touch. Did you ever think about that? That maybe this time it could actually work? I hope it does. Her voice is sincere. I truly do. But hope doesn't protect you from heartbreak. And I'm your mother. Protecting you is what I do. She walks back to the barn, leaving me alone with the ghost of Stella's presence and the weight of warnings I don't want to hear. But as I head back to work, helping other families find their perfect trees, I can't stop thinking about the tears on Stella's face. the longing in her eyes. The way Toby's small hands felt under mine as we cut that tree together. Mom's right that I'm falling. But she's wrong about everything else. This isn't like Rachel. Rachel left because the farm wasn't enough for her, because she wanted something bigger and brighter and more impressive than what I could offer. Stella isn't looking for any of that. She's looking for a safe place. And for someone who sees her son and treats him like he matters. And I can be that. I want to be that. If she'll let me.
Chapter 7. Stella. The Douglas fir stands in the corner of our apartment, filling the small living room with the scent of pine and possibility. I've been staring at it for 10 minutes, a box of ornaments at my feet, unable to start. It's beautiful. Exactly what Toby wanted. And every time I look at it, I see Wyatt kneeling in the snow, guiding my son's hands with infinite patience. I feel the weight of the tree as we carried it together, our steps synchronized, our silence full of everything we weren't saying. I'm in so much trouble. Mom. Toby appears from his bedroom, clutching the wooden star Pop made him. Can we decorate now? Please? Yes. I shake myself free of the memory. Let's decorate. We spend the next hour transforming the tree. Toby hangs ornaments with intense focus, making sure each one has the perfect spot. I string the lights and add garland with careful attention. It's the first tree we've had since leaving. The first real Christmas we're making in this new life. And it's all tangled up with Gracewood Pines. With Pop's gentle presence and Marianne's careful assessment and Wyatt's steady kindness that keeps breaking through my defenses no matter how hard I try to rebuild them. The star goes on top, Toby announces. Pop said it's the most important part. Pop's right. I lift him so he can place it on the highest branch, and he sets it with reverence. When I lower him back down, we step back to admire our work. It's perfect, Toby breathes. The best tree ever. It really is. Can we take a picture? To show Pop and Wyatt? My chest tightens at how naturally he includes them. How quickly they've become part of his world. Sure, sweetheart. I snap a photo on my phone. Toby is beaming in front of the tree, the star ornament Pop made visible on a highest branch where Toby insisted it go. Then one of both of us, Toby's arms around my waist, both of us smiling. Real smiles. The kind I didn't think we'd have again. Can you send it to Wyatt? Toby asks. I want him to see. I don't have his number. Which is true, and also a convenient excuse for maintaining boundaries. Oh. Toby's face falls. Maybe we can show him tomorrow? When we go to the farm? Maybe. The next morning, Toby's school has a half-day for teacher conferences. Pop offered to meet his bus, but I managed to arrange my lunch break to pick him up myself. Small victories in maintaining independence. When I arrive at the farm for my afternoon shift, the gift barn is busy with the lunch crowd. Marianne is at the register, efficiently processing purchases, and I slip into my routine of restocking and assisting customers. It's soothing, this work. The predictability of it. The way I can help people find exactly what they need without revealing anything of myself. Stella. I turn to find Wyatt near the storage room, a crate of ornaments balanced on his hip. Can you give me a hand? Of course. I follow him to the display wall where we're setting up a new vendor's work. Delicate ceramic ornaments shaped like woodland animals. He sets down the crate, and we begin unpacking together. How's the tree? He asks, his voice casual but his attention focused. Good. Toby loves it. I'm glad. He hands me a ceramic fox, and our fingers brush. Neither of us pulls away. Did he put Pop's star on it? He did. Right in the center where you can't miss it. Wyatt's laugh is warm. We work in comfortable silence, and I'm fully aware of him beside me. The way he moves with quiet efficiency. The warmth radiating from his shoulder, so close to mine. We need more tissue paper, he says. We head to the storage room together, and in the narrow aisle between shelves, we have to navigate carefully. Wyatt reaches for a box on a high shelf just as I'm passing, and suddenly we're closer than we should be. His shoulder brushes mine. And neither of us moves away. Sorry, he murmurs, but doesn't step back. It's fine. My voice comes out breathier than intended. We stand there for a heartbeat too long, the air thick with tension. Then Wyatt clears his throat and hands me the tissue paper, and we return to the display like nothing happened. But something did happen. We both felt it. So, Wyatt says as we resume unpacking and arranging. What were your Christmases like growing up? Your family moved around a lot, right? The question is gentle, curious without being invasive. The kind of conversation that should be easy. But nothing about my past is easy. They were different every year, I say carefully. New base, new traditions. My mom tried to make them consistent, but it was hard when everything else kept changing. That must have been tough. You adapt. I unwrap a ceramic rabbit, examining it for chips. You learn not to get too attached to any one way of doing things. Is that why you're so good at this? He gestures around the barn. Creating spaces that feel like home? Because you know what it's like not to have one? The observation is too accurate. Maybe, I admit. What about Toby? Wyatt's voice is soft. What are you hoping to give him this Christmas? The question cracks something open in my chest. Stability, I say quietly. The feeling that this is real. That we're not just passing through somewhere, waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're worried he thinks you're temporary? Here in Juniper Falls? I'm worried he thinks everything is temporary. The words tumble out before I can stop them. His whole life has been moving, changing, adapting. I want him to have roots. To feel like he belongs somewhere. He belongs here. Wyatt says it with such certainty. At Gracewood Pines. With Pop. He stops, and I can feel the weight of what he's not saying. With him. Wyatt. I know. He focuses intently on unpacking a ceramic deer. I know that you're trying to protect him. Protect yourself. But Stella, you do belong here. Both of you. Tears prick my eyes. You don't know what we've been through. I stop, the words catching. Then tell me. He sets down the ornament and turns to face me fully. You don't have to. But if you want to, I'm listening. I should deflect. Should redirect the conversation to something safer. Instead, I hear myself say, his father told me I was making Toby soft. That all my traditions and gentleness were turning him into someone weak. Wyatt's jaw tightens, but he doesn't interrupt. He said Christmas was commercial nonsense. That I was being childish for caring about things like tree decorating and cookie baking. My voice shakes. That Toby needed to toughen up, be more like other boys. Stop being so sensitive. He was wrong. Wyatt's voice is quiet but fierce. On every count. I started to believe him. The confession hurts. It wasn't. Wyatt moves closer, and I don't step back. He's thoughtful because you taught him empathy. He's gentle because you showed him that strength, not weakness. He's happy because you gave him permission to be himself. A tear slides down my cheek. I want him to have what I didn't. A childhood full of moments that matter. Traditions that mean something. The feeling that he's loved exactly as he is. He has that. Wyatt's voice is certain. Anyone can see it. I wipe at my eyes, embarrassed by the emotion. Sorry. I didn't mean to. Don't apologize. He's close enough now that I can see the gold flecks in his eyes. Not for feeling things. Not for caring. And definitely not for being the kind of mother who makes sure her son knows he matters. The kindness in his voice breaks me open. Why are you like this? I whisper. Like what? Patient. Understanding. Like nothing I say or feel is too much. Because it's not. He reaches up slowly, giving me time to move away, and gently brushes a tear from my cheek with his thumb. "You're not too much, Stella. You're exactly enough." The touch is brief, barely there, but I feel it everywhere. We stand frozen in the narrow aisle, surrounded by boxes and tissue paper and the weight of everything we're not saying. His hand hovers near my face, and I can see him wanting to cup my cheek, to close the distance, to turn this moment into something more. But he doesn't. He drops his hand and steps back, giving me space I'm not sure I want. "We should finish the display," he says, voice rough. We return to work, but the air between us has changed. Charged with possibility. With the dangerous knowledge that this is becoming real whether I'm ready for it or not. Pop appears in the doorway, surveying our work with knowing eyes. He catches my gaze and smiles, subtle and warm, before shuffling away. He sees it too. What's building between Wyatt and me? And unlike Marianne, he doesn't seem worried. "I should check on the wreath display," I say when the animal ornaments are all arranged. "Make sure we have enough inventory for the weekend." Wyatt's eyes linger on my face. "Stella?" "Yes?" "Thank you. For trusting me with that. With your story. I didn't tell you all of it. You told me enough." His expression is gentle. "And whenever you're ready to tell me more, I'll be here." I nod, not trusting my voice, and escape to the relative safety of the wreath display. But as I work, rearranging ribbons and checking stock, I can feel Wyatt's attention from across the barn. The afternoon passes in the usual rhythm of customers and restocking. Around 4, Toby arrives with Pop, his face bright with excitement about whatever they made today. He runs to me with his creation. It's a small wooden ornament shaped like a Christmas tree. "For our tree," he announces. "Pop helped me paint it. It's beautiful, sweetheart. Can we put it on tonight? I want it to be with the star." "Of course." I glance up and find Wyatt watching us from near the register. There's something profound in his expression. Something that looks like longing mixed with hope. Something that echoes in my heart.
Chapter 8. Wyatt. Hazel Elliott appears at the farm on Wednesday afternoon, examining a noble fir with the kind of scrutiny most people reserve for buying houses. "This one," she announces, "though I know she's been coming to Gracewood Pines for 30 years and has never once bought a tree in December. She orders hers in October and has it delivered the day after Thanksgiving. What do you think, Wyatt?" "I think you already have a tree." "Do I?" Her eyes twinkle. "Well then, perhaps I'm here for a different reason." I set down the pruning shears I've been using to trim some lower branches. "What reason would that be?" "To check on you, dear boy." She brushes non-existent snow off her elegant coat. "You've been looking rather contemplative lately." "It's a contemplative season." She moves away from the tree, linking her arm through mine with the familiarity of someone who's known me since birth. "Walk with me. Show me what you've done with the new section." We stroll toward the newer plantings. Fraser firs that won't be ready for harvest for another 3 years. They're still small, barely reaching my waist. "Grace would be proud of these," Hazel says softly, running her hand over the nearest tree. She always thought about the future. Not just what the farm is, but what it could become. I think about that a lot lately. The admission slips out. What I'm building. Whether it's enough. Enough for whom? For, I stop, unsure how to finish. For someone specific? Hazel's voice is gentle. Someone with chestnut hair and a cautious smile? Someone with a 6-year-old son who's been teaching my friend Dorothy the proper way to arrange pine cones? I can't help but smile. "Toby was in the gift barn earlier?" "For all of 10 minutes before your grandfather whisked him away to the workshop." She squeezes my arm. "That boy adores you both. It's written all over his face. The feeling's mutual." "And his mother?" The question hangs in the cold December air. "I don't know," I say honestly. "Sometimes I think maybe." But then she pulls back. And I understand why, I just don't know how to. How to show her you're different. Hazel finishes. Yeah. We walk in silence for a moment, our breath visible in the cold. Around us, the farm hums with late afternoon activity. Families are choosing trees, Pop's saw is buzzing somewhere in the distance, Christmas music drifting from the barn. Let me ask you something, Hazel says. What do you want to build with her? If fear wasn't a factor. If she said yes to everything. What would that look like? The question catches me off guard. Everyone keeps asking what I'm afraid of. No one's asked what I'm hoping for. Mornings, I say slowly. I want mornings where Toby runs through the tree groves before school, and Stella drinks coffee on the cabin porch, and we all have breakfast together before the farm opens. Hazel nods, encouraging me to continue. I want Friday nights like the candlelit walk, but regular. Every week. Just us. Building traditions that are ours. The words come faster now. I want to teach Toby how to run the farm. Which trees need more water, how to tell when they're ready to cut, why Pop plants the way he does. I stop, overwhelmed by the clarity of the vision. You want family, Hazel says simply. Yes. But not just any family. Them. Stella and Toby. I want them to be mine, and I want to be theirs. Then stop worrying about what could go wrong, Hazel says firmly. Start building toward what could go right. How? You invite them into your life. Not just work. She gestures around the farm. You show Stella what it looks like to be partners. To build something together. You show Toby what it means to belong somewhere so deeply that leaving becomes unthinkable. I've been trying. I know. You've been patient and kind and steady. All good things. Her eyes are sharp. But at some point, Wyatt, you have to be brave enough to say what you want. Out loud. To her. What if she's not ready? Then she'll tell you. And you'll wait. But at least she'll know. At least you'll have been honest about what you're hoping for. Hazel stops walking and turns to face me. Fear is natural. But living in fear means building nothing. And you, Wyatt McCall, were made to build things. Beautiful, lasting things. The words settle in my chest, warm and certain. Tonight, I say. I'm going to ask them to stay after closing. Fire pit. Nothing fancy. Just inviting them deeper into your world. Hazel smiles. That evening, when I ask Stella and Toby to stay for the fire pit, Stella's yes feels like a gift. By 8:30, we're settled around the flames. Pop has claimed his favorite spot and Toby sits down on the bench next to me. My dad stopped by with fresh cider, and he's settled into easy conversation with Stella about the challenges of small-town winters versus city living. I'm content to listen, watching the firelight play across Stella's face as she laughs at something Dad says about the time our water pipes froze 3 Christmases running. Wyatt had to haul water from the barn in buckets, Dad says. 16 years old and convinced we were living in pioneer times. We practically were. Character building, Pop interjects. All that suffering made you resourceful. Toby looks up at me with wide eyes. You carried water in buckets? For 3 days. Until the thaw. That's so cool. His admiration is genuine. Like you were camping but inside. I wouldn't call it cool. More like cold and wet and miserable. But you figured it out, Stella says quietly, and there's something in her voice that makes me look at her more closely. You made it work. We made it work, I correct. Pop and Dad and me. That's what you do. Problems come up, you solve them together. Together, she repeats softly, like she's testing the word. Pop starts telling Toby about the original cabin. The one he and my grandmother built with their own hands the first year. How they lived in it while building the farm and planting the first trees, how the roof leaked and the door didn't quite close right, but it was theirs. Grace used to say the cabin had character, Pop says, his voice warm with memory. Is it still there? Toby asks. The cabin? It is. Wyatt lives there now. Him and me. Really? Toby turns to me, fascinated. You live in the cabin your grandma built? I do. Pop moved back in after Grace passed. Said the big house was too quiet without her. Can I see it sometime? The question is eager. The cabin? I glance at Stella, not wanting to overstep. She's watching Toby with soft eyes, and when she meets my gaze, she nods slightly. Sure, I tell Toby. Maybe this weekend. If your mom says it's okay. Can we, Mom? Please? We'll see. But she's smiling. The fire crackles, and Dad adds another log. Sparks dance upward into the night sky, joining the stars just beginning to appear. Look, Toby breathes, pointing. The first star. Make a wish. We all go quiet, and I watch Stella close her eyes. Wonder what she's wishing for. If it has anything to do with the way she's been looking at me tonight. When she opens her eyes, they find mine across the fire, and something passes between us. Acknowledgement. Understanding. Hope. What did you wish for? Dad asks no one in particular. Can't tell, or it won't come true, Toby says with a solemn nod, then yawns. Someone's getting sleepy, Stella observes. Not me. But his eyes are drooping. Another log on the fire. More sparks. Dad starts telling a story about the year it snowed so hard they couldn't get to town for a week. And Toby, fighting sleep with everything in him, gradually leans sideways. Into me. His small body finds the space against my ribs like it was made to fit there. His head drops onto my arm. His breathing evens out. My heart stops, then restarts with a different rhythm. I don't dare move. Across the fire, Stella has gone very still. Her eyes are locked on Toby, then lift to meet mine, and what I see there makes my throat tight. Longing. Fear. Wonder. Her walls cracking in real time. I adjust carefully, making sure Toby's comfortable, tucking my coat around him against the cold. The move is instinctive. Like I've done this 1,000 times before. Pop sees what's happening and his eyes crinkle with quiet joy. Dad notices too, and his expression softens. They both know what this means. What Toby means by choosing me. What Stella means by letting him. We sit in the firelight, not speaking. The silence is full of understanding, of possibility, of everything changing without a single word being said. Pop continues his story, something about Grace insisting they build a snowman family in the front yard despite the blizzard. Dad adds details, and Stella laughs quietly at the image. And I hold Toby while he sleeps, and watch his mother watch us, and feel every piece of my carefully guarded heart surrender completely. This is what I want to build. A family. When Toby finally stirs 20 minutes later, Stella stands reluctantly. We should go. It's late. Few more minutes won't hurt, Pop says, but Stella shakes her head gently. School tomorrow. And I have an early shift. I help Toby to his feet, and he's drowsy but awake enough to mumble thank yous to everyone. We walk to the car together, the three of us. At the car, I help buckle Toby in. He's asleep again before I finish with the straps. Out cold, I say softly, closing the door carefully. He had a good night. Stella's arms are wrapped around herself, and I can't tell if it's from cold or emotion. Thank you for including us. I want to include you in more than just fire pits. The words slip out before I can stop them. She looks up at me, eyes wide in the darkness. Stella, I stop, remembering Hazel's words. Be brave enough to say what you want. Can I give you my number? In case you ever need anything. Or want to talk. Okay. The quick agreement surprises us both. She pulls out her phone with shaking hands, and I recite my number while she types. There, she says. And you should have mine. For work things. Or, she stops, unable to finish. Or anything, I supply gently. Or anything. We stand in the cold parking lot, phones in hand, both of us knowing this is more than an exchange of contact information. Text me when you get home, I say. So I know you made it safe. She nods and gets in the car. I watch her drive away, and I feel more hopeful than I can remember feeling in a long time.
Chapter 9. Stella. The text comes in the evening while I'm folding laundry in our tiny living room. Wyatt, are you working tomorrow night? I stare at my phone for a full minute before responding. Stella, yes. 4 to 8 shift. 3 dots appear immediately, then disappear. Then appear again. Wyatt, want to stay after? I'll make hot chocolate. The real kind, not the packet stuff. We can talk. My heart does something complicated in my chest. We've texted a handful of times since the fire pit. Practical things mostly, shift schedules and inventory questions. But this is different. Just us? I type, then delete it. What about Toby? Better. Bring him. Pop wants to show him the new project he's been working on. Of course Pop has a new project. And of course he's thought of Toby. I should say no. Should maintain the boundaries that are already blurring dangerously. Should protect myself from the hope that keeps growing despite my best efforts to contain it. Okay. What time? 8:15? After closing? We'll be there. I set down my phone and press my hands to my face, trying to calm my racing heart. This is hot chocolate and a conversation. Nothing I haven't done before. Except it's not. Not with Wyatt. Not with the way he looked at me across the fire, or the tenderness in his hands when he held my sleeping son, or the quiet certainty in his voice when he said he wasn't going anywhere. Mom? Toby appears in the doorway, clutching his wooden bird. Can we practice my spelling words? Of course, sweetheart. I set aside the laundry and make space on the couch. Come here. We work through his list together, simple words like snow and gift and star, and I try to focus. Try not to think about tomorrow night or what it means or how terrified I am of wanting something this much. But Toby keeps looking at the Christmas tree, at the ornaments he made with Pop, at the star perched on its lower branch. Mom, he says after spelling reindeer perfectly. Are we going to stay here? In Juniper Falls? The question catches me off guard. What do you mean? I mean forever. Or are we going to move again? His voice is small, uncertain. Because I really like it here. I don't want to leave. My throat tightens. We're not planning to leave, sweetheart. But we weren't planning to leave before either. And then we did. The observation is too perceptive for a 6-year-old. That was different, I say carefully. We left because we needed to. Because staying wasn't safe. But here is safe. He looks at me with absolute certainty. Right? Yes. Here is safe. Then can we stay? Please? I want to keep learning from Pop. And Wyatt promised to teach me about the trees. Tears burn behind my eyes. This feels like home, doesn't it? Yes. He leans against me, and I wrap my arm around his shoulders. I love it here, Mom. I love the farm and the people and how everyone's nice. I don't want it to end. Me neither, baby. The words slip out honest and raw. Me neither. The day drags endlessly. Every customer interaction, every restocking task, every moment feels stretched thin with anticipation. Wyatt is busy with tree deliveries most of the day, so I barely see him. Just glimpses across the barn of him carrying a Fraser fir, laughing with a customer, conferring with his dad about the weekend schedule. Each glimpse makes my heart beat faster. Around 7:30, the barn starts emptying. Last-minute shoppers collect their purchases, families head home for dinner, and the usual bustling energy settles into something quieter. Marianne works beside me during closing, and I feel her attention like weight. You've been doing excellent work, she says as we tidy the ribbon display. The customers specifically mention you. How helpful you are. How you make them feel welcome. Thank you. I straighten a spool that doesn't need straightening. I enjoy it. I can tell. She pauses, choosing words carefully. You're settling in well. You and Toby both. There's something in her tone I can't quite read. Not disapproval exactly, but caution. Concern. We're happy here, I say, because it's true. Good. That's good. Another pause. Just remember to maintain appropriate boundaries. The message is clear even through the gentle delivery. She's noticed. Whatever is building between Wyatt and me, she's noticed, and she's worried. Of course, I say. She nods, seemingly satisfied, but I feel the warning settle cold in my stomach. By 8, the barn is empty except for staff. Pop appears with Toby, who's clutching a new wooden creation. Something that might be a sled or a boat, I can't quite tell. Look, Mom. Pop showed me how to make the runners curved. It's beautiful, sweetheart. We'll finish it next week, Pop says, then looks at me with knowing eyes. Unless you'd like to come see where we do the real work? The cabin has the good tools. The cabin? Toby's eyes go wide. The one you told me about? That's the one. Wyatt appears from the storage room. I was going to ask if you both wanted to see it. If you're not too tired. Can we, Mom? Please? I should say no. Should take Toby home and maintain the boundaries Marianne just reminded me about. Okay, I hear myself say. We'd like that. The cabin sits in a small clearing beyond the main barn, surrounded by tall pines that shield it from view of the parking lot. It's smaller than I expected with weathered wood siding and a stone chimney. Warm light glows from the windows, and smoke curls lazily from the chimney into the December night. Grace designed it, Wyatt says as we approach. Pop built it with his own hands. It's beautiful, I say, and mean it. There's something about the place that feels intentional. Loved. Like every board was placed with care. Wait until you see inside. Pop's hand rests on Toby's shoulder as they climb the 3 wooden steps to the porch. That's where Grace really left her mark. Wyatt opens the door, and warmth spills out along with the scent of wood smoke and pine and something that might be coffee. We step inside, and I have to stop. The main room is open with the living area flowing into a small kitchen. There are exposed beam ceilings and wide plank floors worn smooth by decades of use. A wood stove dominates one corner, its fire crackling behind the glass door. The furniture is simple but well made. A couch with faded quilts draped over the back, 2 armchairs with worn leather, and a wooden rocking chair near the stove. But it's the details that make my throat tight. Hand-carved stars hang from the ceiling beams. Photographs cover one wall. Black and white images of Pop and Grace young and laughing, color photos of Wyatt at various ages, family gatherings around this very room. A bookshelf overflows with worn paperbacks and what look like journals. Handmade pottery sits on the windowsills, each piece slightly imperfect and utterly charming. Grace made those, Wyatt says, noticing where I'm looking. She took a pottery class one winter and became obsessed. Made about 50 pieces before she was satisfied with her technique. She kept them all? Every single one. She said the imperfect ones had the most character. Toby is already exploring, his eyes wide with wonder. Mom, look. There's a loft. I glance up and see a ladder leading to a small sleeping area tucked under the eaves. That's where Wyatt sleeps, Pop says. I've got the bedroom in the back. And through here, he leads Toby toward a door on the far wall. This is the real workshop. Where we do the detailed work. They disappear through the door, and suddenly it's just me and Wyatt in this space that feels saturated with history and warmth and belonging. Pop's going to show him the lathe, Wyatt says, moving toward the small kitchen. Which means we have about 20 minutes before Toby gets bored with watching wood shavings fly. Want tea? Coffee? I can make more hot chocolate. Tea would be nice. I settle onto the couch while he fills a kettle and sets it on the stove. An actual wood-burning stove that serves as both heat and cooking surface. Everything about this place is intentional. Deliberate. Built to last. How long have you lived here? I ask. I moved back 3 years ago, after Grandma passed. He pulls 2 mugs from a cabinet. You gave up your own place? I had an apartment in town. Nice enough, but, he shrugs. It wasn't home. This is. Always has been. The kettle whistles, and he pours water over tea bags with the same careful attention he gives everything. When he hands me the mug, I recognize it as one of Grace's pieces. She made this for me, he says, settling into the armchair across from me. I cradle the mug, feeling the imperfect handle. Thank you for showing me this, I say quietly. For letting us in. I've wanted to. He leans forward, elbows on his knees. From the workshop, I can hear Pop's voice explaining something about wood grain, and Toby's excited questions. Which means this moment is just ours. I keep trying to figure out when it happened, Wyatt says quietly. When you went from being a good employee to someone I think about constantly. He stops, then continues. Someone I'm falling for. My breath catches. Wyatt. You don't have to say anything. I just needed to tell you. Needed you to know that this, he gestures between us. Whatever this is, it's real for me. Has been for a while now. The honesty in his voice makes my chest tight. I should deflect. Should protect myself. Should remind us both of all the reasons this is complicated. Instead, I say, it's real for me too. His eyes widen slightly, hope and fear mixing in equal measure. Yeah? Yes. I look down at my tea, unable to hold his gaze. That's what scares me. How real it feels. He's quiet for a moment, and I can feel him choosing his words carefully. Can I tell you something? He asks. Something personal from my past. I nod, still not looking at him. I was engaged before. Her name was Rachel. He shifts on the armchair, leaning forward. We met in college. Everyone said we were perfect together. What happened? I risk a glance at him. She wanted to climb the corporate ladder. Live in the city. Build a life that looked impressive from the outside. His smile is sad. And I wanted this. The farm. She wanted you to leave. She wanted me to want to leave. Thought I'd outgrow it eventually, that I'd realize there was more to life than playing farmer in the middle of nowhere. He runs a hand through his hair. She took a job in New York. Didn't tell me she'd been interviewing. She came home one day and said she'd accepted the position, and I needed to decide if I was coming with her. I can hear the old hurt in his voice, carefully managed but still there. I told her I couldn't leave. Couldn't leave Pop, couldn't leave the farm, couldn't walk away from everything my grandparents built. He looks at me then, his eyes dark with memory. She said if I really loved her, I'd try. That successful people don't limit themselves to small-town dreams. That's cruel. It felt true at the time. His voice goes quiet. For a long time after she left, I wondered if she was right. If wanting this simple, rooted life meant I was settling for less. If I'd end up alone because I wasn't willing to want more. My heart aches for him. For the way someone twisted his love for this place into something small and limiting. You're not settling, I say firmly. What you've built here is something special. He looks at me like I've said something profound. You're the first person who's ever understood that, he says quietly. Who's ever looked at this place and seen what I see? What do you see? Home. Legacy. Everything that matters. He stands and moves to the couch, settling beside me. And when you and Toby are here, it's like the picture finally makes sense. Like I'm not just maintaining something my grandparents built. I'm building something new. Something that could be ours. The word hangs between us. Ours. Wyatt. I struggle to find words for the tangle of emotions in my chest. I don't know if I can be what you need. I don't know if I'm brave enough for this. You're the bravest person I know. He reaches for my hand, his fingers threading through mine. You left everything familiar to protect your son. You started over with nothing but hope and determination. You show up every day even though you're scared. That's not a lack of bravery, Stella. That's courage. Tears burn behind my eyes. I'm terrified of this. Of you. Of how much I want this to be real. It is real. His thumb brushes across my knuckles. I'm falling for you, Stella. For your gentleness and your strength and the way you love Toby. For how you see beauty in small things and create order from chaos. For the way you hum when you think no one's listening and how you check on people without making them feel like a burden. You notice all that? I notice everything about you. His voice is rough with emotion. The way you bite your lip when you're concentrating. How you always make sure everyone else is taken care of before yourself. The careful way you move through the world, like you're trying not to take up too much space. He squeezes my hand. And I want you to know that you don't have to be small here. Not with me. Not ever. A tear slips down my cheek. I don't know how to be anything else. Then let me show you. He lifts his free hand to my face, his thumb catching the tear. Let me show you what it looks like when someone sees all of you and doesn't turn away. When someone wants you to take up space because the space you fill is exactly the space they need filled. More tears come, and I don't try to stop them. What if I'm too broken? I whisper. What if all my careful and scared and wounded is too much too? You're not broken. He leans closer, his forehead nearly touching mine. You're healing. And healing isn't pretty or easy or linear. But Stella, I want to be here for all of it. The scared parts and the brave parts and everything in between. Why? My voice breaks. Why would you want that? Because somewhere between watching you reorganize my ornament display and seeing your expression when Toby cut his first tree, I fell completely in love with you. The words stop my heart. What? I love you. He says it simply, certainly. I love your strength and your gentleness. I love how you mother Toby and how you're learning to trust again even though it terrifies you. I love that you see this place the way I do. As home, not a stepping stone to something better. Wyatt. I can barely breathe. You can't, we barely. I know. It's fast. It's probably too soon to say it. But it's true. His hand slides to cup the back of my neck, gentle but sure. And I need you to understand that this isn't casual for me. That you're what I want. I'm so scared, I admit. Me too. His smile is shaky. Terrified that I'll mess this up. Say the wrong thing. Move too fast or not fast enough. I think I'm falling in love with you too, I whisper. His breath catches. Yeah? Yeah. I lean into his hand on my neck. I don't know how to do this. But I want to. Then trust this. His voice drops to barely a whisper. Trust that I see you. That when I say I love you, I mean all of you. He lifts his hand slowly, giving me every chance to pull away, and cups my face with unbearable gentleness. His thumb brushes my cheekbone, and I lean into the touch without thinking. We're so close now. Close enough that I can see the gold flecks in his eyes, count the heartbeats visible in his throat, feel the warmth of his breath against my lips. Can I? He starts. Yes, I breathe before he can finish the question. He leans in slowly, his forehead touching mine first. His hand slides from my cheek to cup the back of my neck, and his other hand finds my waist, drawing me closer. Our noses brush. His lips are so close I can almost taste him. My eyes flutter closed. My hands come up to rest on his chest, feeling his heart racing under my palms. The space between us disappears to nothing. Wyatt? Are you? Oh. We jerk apart like we'd been electrocuted. Marianne stands in the open doorway, her hand still on the knob. "I'm sorry," she says, though her voice is tight. "I didn't realize." "It's fine, Mom." Wyatt's voice is rough, frustrated. He doesn't move away from me, but the spell is broken. "What do you need?" "I was looking for the deposit bag." But her eyes move to me, assessing. Taking in how close we're sitting, my flushed face, Wyatt's hand still on my waist. "I can come back." "No." I stand quickly, needing distance, needing air. "I should get Toby." "It's late." "Stella, wait." Wyatt reaches for my hand, but I'm already moving toward the workshop door. I can feel Marianne's eyes on us. Feel the weight of her unspoken concern. "Toby." I call, my voice too loud in the small space. "Time to go, sweetheart." He appears with Pop, his face falling when he sees my expression. "Already?" "But we were." "Now, Toby. We need to go now." Pop's eyes move between me and Wyatt and Marianne, reading the situation with the precision of someone who's lived 8 decades. "Come on, lad. Let's get your coat." He helps Toby bundle up with gentle efficiency, and I avoid everyone's eyes as we move toward the door. Marianne steps aside to let us pass, and I feel her gaze following me. Feel the weight of her concern and the questions she's not asking. "Thank you for showing us the cabin," I manage, the words wooden. "It's beautiful." "Stella, please." Wyatt catches my arm gently. "Don't leave like this. Let me walk you to your car." "No need." I pull away carefully, not wanting to make a scene in front of Toby. "It's late. We should go." I can feel Marianne watching us. "Good night," I say to no one in particular, and guide Toby out into the cold December night. Behind me, I hear Marianne's voice, low and urgent. "Wyatt, we need to talk."
Chapter 10. Wyatt. The cabin feels too quiet after they leave. I stand in the middle of the room, staring at the couch where Stella sat moments ago, and try to process what just happened. We were so close. So impossibly close. Her eyes had closed, her hands were on my chest, and for one perfect second I thought, "Wyatt." Mom's voice cuts through my thoughts. "We need to talk." "Not now." I move to the kitchen, needing something to do with my hands. "The mugs." "I'll wash the mugs." "Yes, now." She follows me, her footsteps soft on the wooden floor. Before this goes any further. Before what goes any further. I turn on the tap harder than necessary. Before I'm happy? Before I find someone who actually wants this life? Before you get hurt again. Her voice is gentle, which somehow makes it worse. "Wyatt, I saw how you were looking at her. I know what you were about to do." "And? What's wrong with that?" I scrub the mug with more force than it needs. "I have feelings for her, Mom. Real feelings. And she has them too." "You heard her. She said." "I heard what she said." Mom leans against the counter, her arms crossed. "I also saw how quickly she ran when I walked in. How fast she shut down. Because she was embarrassed. Or because she's not ready for this." Mom's tone is patient, reasonable. "Wyatt, you barely know this woman. It's been what, 3 weeks? I know enough." "Do you?" She moves closer. "Do you know why she left Raleigh? What exactly happened with Toby's father? What kind of baggage she's carrying that makes her run the second things get real?" I set down the mug carefully, forcing myself to stay calm. "She's been through something difficult. She's protecting herself and Toby. That doesn't make her broken? No. But it makes her complicated." Mom's expression softens. "And sweetheart, I'm not saying she's a bad person. I'm saying you need to be careful. You need to think about what you're getting into." "I have thought about it." "Have you?" "Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're falling headfirst into the same pattern as Rachel." She holds up a hand when I start to protest. I know Stella isn't Rachel. I know they're different. But you're doing the same thing. Seeing someone, wanting them, assuming it'll work out because you want it badly enough. The comparison stings because it's not entirely wrong. Rachel left because this wasn't enough for her, I say tightly. Stella is different. She loves this place. She sees what I see. For now. Mom's voice is quiet. But what happens when reality sets in? When Toby needs more than you can give? When the weight of running this farm and managing a relationship and being a father figure to a traumatized child becomes too much? I can handle it. Can you? She steps closer, her eyes searching mine. Because I remember what Rachel leaving did to you. I remember finding you in the barn at 2 in the morning, questioning everything about yourself and this place. I remember you saying maybe she was right, maybe you were settling, maybe you'd never find someone who wanted this life. My chest tightens. I don't like remembering those months. The emptiness. The doubt. This is different, I insist. Is it? Or are you just so desperate to prove Rachel wrong that you're latching onto the first woman who says she wants to stay? Mom's voice cracks slightly. Sweetheart, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to protect you. Because if Stella decides this is too hard, if she realizes that small-town life with a farmer isn't what she wants, she won't. You don't know that. Mom reaches for my hand. And more, what about Toby? That little boy is already attached to you. I see it every time he's here. She stops, emotion flickering across her face. He looks at you like you're important already. And if this doesn't work out, if Stella leaves or if you two can't make it work, he loses another person. Another man who he thought would stay. The words hit like a punch to the gut. I hadn't thought about it that way. Hadn't considered what it would do to Toby if things fell apart. You can't fix Stella's pain or heal Toby's wounds or make everything okay through sheer force of will. Mom continues quietly. Sometimes people need time to work through their own issues before they can be in a relationship. And rushing into this isn't fair to any of you. I want to argue. Want to tell her she's wrong, that she doesn't understand, that what Stella and I have is real and worth fighting for. But doubt is creeping in like cold through a cracked window. What if Mom's right? What if I'm rushing this? What if I hurt Toby by getting too close too fast? I love her. The admission feels both true and insufficient. I know it's fast. I know it's probably crazy. But I love her, Mom. And I think she could love me too, if she let herself. I believe you. Mom squeezes my hand. But loving someone isn't always enough. I pull my hand away and stare out the window into the darkness. Stella's taillights are long gone. She's home now, probably tucking Toby in, maybe replaying what almost happened in this cabin. Is she relieved we were interrupted? Or disappointed? Does she really have feelings for me, or is she just lonely and latching onto the first person who's shown her kindness? I'm not saying give up on her, Mom says gently. I'm saying slow down. Give her time. Let her work through whatever she needs to work through. And protect yourself in the process. Protect your heart. My heart's already involved. I know. She moves to stand beside me, her shoulder touching mine. That's what worries me. We stand in silence for a long moment, and I hate that her words make sense. Hate that the doubt is taking root. What do I do? I ask finally. You give her space. You pull back a little. You let her come to you when she's ready instead of pushing. Mom turns to face me. And you think about whether you're ready for all the complications that come with her. The ex-husband. The trauma. The words settle heavy in my chest. I need to think. I gesture vaguely toward nothing. That's all I'm asking. Mom kisses my cheek. I love you, sweetheart. She leaves, taking the deposit bag she came for, and I'm alone in the cabin with my doubts and the ghost of Stella's almost kiss. I see Stella's car pull into the parking lot at 9:50, 10 minutes early like always. She gets out, gathers her things, and walks toward the barn with her shoulders slightly hunched. Like she's bracing for something. I should go talk to her and clear the air. Should tell her that last night was real and I meant everything I said. But Mom's words about getting hurt and hurting Toby echo in my head. So I stay in the workshop with Pop, pretending to organize inventory that doesn't need organizing. You going to talk to her? Pop asks without looking up from the piece he's sanding. Eventually. Your mother got to you, Pop observes. She made good points. Did she? He sets down the sandpaper and looks at me over his glasses. Or did she just remind you of old fears? Maybe both. I lean against the workbench. What if I'm rushing this? By what? Caring about them? Showing up? Pop's voice is gentle but firm. Mom thinks. I know what your mother thinks. She's scared for you. He stands, moving closer. But fear isn't a good enough reason to walk away from something real. What if it's not real? What if I'm just seeing what I want to see? Is that what you believe? I think about Stella in the cabin last night. The look on her face when I told her I loved her. The way she leaned into my touch like she'd been starving for gentleness. No, I admit. I believe it's real. Then act like it. Pop pats my shoulder. Grace used to say that doubt is just fear wearing a fancy hat. Don't let fear make your decisions, Wyatt. Not when love is offering you something beautiful. But even Pop's wisdom can't completely erase the doubts Mom planted. I make it until noon before I have to see Stella. She's at the ornament display, helping a customer choose decorations for a mantel. Her voice is soft and professional, her movements efficient. She looks tired. There are shadows under her eyes that weren't there yesterday. Our eyes meet across the barn. She offers a small smile. And I nod and look away. I hate myself for it. But I can't seem to make myself cross the barn. Can't seem to find words that aren't tangled up with doubt and fear and my mother's warnings. The afternoon passes in careful avoidance. We orbit each other without actually speaking. She helps customers. I handle tree sales. We're two people in the same space, performing our roles, pretending last night didn't happen. Around 3, Toby arrives with Pop. He runs straight to me like he always does, his face bright with excitement about something that happened at school. Wyatt! Guess what? I got a gold star on my spelling test. All the words right. That's great, buddy. I crouch down to his level, and his joy is infectious enough to crack through my carefully maintained distance. I knew you could do it. Mom helped me practice every night. He looks around. Where is she? I want to show her. She's working. Maybe later. But Toby's already spotted her near the register and is running across the barn, his test paper clutched in his hand. I watch him reach her. Watch her face transform when she sees the gold star. Watch her pull him into a hug that lifts him off his feet, her laugh genuine and full of pride. And then her eyes find mine over Toby's shoulder. The hope from earlier is gone. In its place is hurt. The careful walls sliding back into position. I did that. With one look, one moment of distance, I made her doubt everything. You're making a mistake, Pop says quietly beside me. Maybe I'm preventing a bigger one. Pop harumphs and walks away. Stella helps Toby out of his coat and sends him to Pop's workshop with a gentle push. Then she's walking toward me, her expression carefully neutral. Can we talk? She asks quietly. Yes. Outside? We step into the cold December afternoon, away from customers and curious eyes. The distance between us feels like miles even though we're standing 3 feet apart. Did you mean it? She doesn't waste time with small talk. Last night. What you said. Did you mean it? Yes. The answer is immediate, honest. Every word. Then why? Her voice cracks. Why are you looking at me like that? Like you regret it? I don't regret it. You're lying. She wraps her arms around herself. You've been avoiding me all day. You can barely look at me. So either you didn't mean what you said, or something changed between last night and this morning. I want to lie. Want to protect her from the truth. But she deserves honesty. My mom's worried, I say carefully. About us moving too fast. About whether we're both ready for this. I stop, unable to continue. About me. Stella finishes, her voice flat. About my baggage and my complications and whether I'm worth the risk. That's not. It is exactly that. She takes a step back. And you know what? She's right to be worried. You should be worried. Because I am complicated, and I do have baggage. Don't. The word comes out sharp. Don't do that. Don't tear yourself down because I'm being a coward. A coward? Yes. I run a hand through my hair, frustrated with myself. I'm scared, Stella. Scared of getting hurt again. Scared of hurting you. Scared of what it'll do to Toby if this doesn't work out. Stella's eyes fill with tears. So you decided what? To pull back? To prove you're not desperate by treating me like I don't matter? You matter. You matter so much it terrifies me. I need to get back to work. She wipes at her eyes with shaking hands. I need to. I can't do this right now. Stella, please. You said you love me. She looks at me with devastation in her eyes. You said you'd wait. That you weren't going anywhere. And less than 24 hours later, you can't even look at me without doubt all over your face. I'm sorry. Don't. She holds up a hand. Don't apologize. Give me space. I think we could both use it. She walks back into the barn before I can respond, leaving me standing in the cold with the weight of my mistakes.
Chapter 11. Stella. The farm is packed with families choosing trees for the final push before Christmas. I'm in the gift barn, restocking ribbon, when I hear Marianne's voice from the other side of the display. I just think it's for the best, she's saying to someone. Wyatt deserves an easier life. After everything with Rachel. I freeze, my hand still on a spool of red velvet. He's such a good man, the other voice agrees. It's Dorothy, one of the other part-time employees. He deserves someone without so many complications. Exactly. Marianne's voice is kind but firm. Someone who can be a true partner. Not someone he has to rescue or fix. He has enough to worry about with the farm and Pop. He doesn't need. She stops, and I hear footsteps moving away. The words echo in my head, each one a knife finding old scars. Easier life. Complications. Rescue. Fix. All the things Richard said. All the things I've feared about myself. I'm damaged goods come with too many complications. Who would truly want to be part of that? My hands shake as I set down the ribbon. My vision blurs with tears I refuse to let fall. Not here. Not where anyone can see. I need air. I'm taking my break, I tell the other staff member at the register, not waiting for a response. I grab my coat and slip out the side door, away from the crowds and the families and the crushing weight of normalcy I don't belong to. My feet carry me toward the tree groves without conscious thought. Toward the quieter sections where families don't venture. Where I can be alone with the reality I've been trying to deny. This was a mistake. All of it. Coming to Juniper Falls. Taking this job. Believing that I could have something good. Letting myself fall in love with Wyatt McCall. The admission breaks something open in my chest. I love him. Somewhere between watching him kneel in the snow with Toby and seeing his home and hearing him say the words first, I fell completely in love with him. And it doesn't matter. Because Marianne's right. He deserves someone whole and uncomplicated who can be a true partner instead of a project. He deserves better than me. I find myself in a small clearing surrounded by Douglas firs, their branches heavy with snow. It's beautiful and quiet and utterly isolated. And I finally let myself break. The sobs come hard and fast, tearing through me like they'd been building for days. 4 weeks. For the work I'd done to rebuild our lives and make up for the damage Richard had done to both of us before he walked out. I was foolish to hope. Foolish to think that wanting something could make it real. To believe that a man like Wyatt, steady and kind and rooted, could actually want someone like me. Someone damaged. Someone with a traumatized child. Someone whose ex-husband sends those court-mandated checks twice a year like clockwork, reminding me that I'm nothing more than an obligation. I sink down against a tree trunk and let myself cry for everything I wanted and everything I'm going to lose. Because I have to leave. Have to quit after Christmas. Have to protect Toby from getting any more attached to Pop and Wyatt and this place that was never really ours. Stella? I jerk upright, swiping at my face. Wyatt stands at the edge of the clearing, his expression stricken. I'm fine, I manage, but my voice is wrecked. Just needed air. You're crying. He moves closer, and I see concern in his eyes. Concern and something else. Something that looks like guilt. What happened? Did someone? Nothing happened. I'm fine. I stand, brushing snow from my coat with shaking hands. I should get back. My break's almost over. Stella. He catches my arm gently when I try to move past him. Please. Talk to me. There's nothing to talk about. There's everything to talk about. We've barely spoken in 3 days. You've been avoiding me. You've been avoiding me, I correct, pulling my arm free. You made it very clear that your mother's concerns are valid. That you need space. I never said. You didn't have to say it. I saw it on your face. The words taste bitter. The way you looked at me the other night. Like you were already regretting everything. Like I was exactly the mistake your mother warned you about. That's not. He runs a hand through his hair, frustrated. I was scared, okay? I was scared and doubting and I handled it badly. But that doesn't mean. It means exactly what I thought it meant. I wrap my arms around myself. You realized I'm too much work. Too complicated. Too broken to be worth the effort. Stop putting words in my mouth. His voice rises slightly. You don't know what I realized. You don't know what I'm thinking or feeling because you won't let me explain. Then explain. I force myself to meet his eyes. Explain why you told me you loved me and then couldn't look at me the next day. You've been treating me like a stranger and I heard your mother tell Dorothy that you deserve an easier life. His face goes pale. You heard that. I heard that. The tears are coming again, and I hate myself for them. And she's right, Wyatt. You do deserve easier. You deserve someone who can be a partner without bringing all this. I gesture at myself. All this mess. Stella. I'm quitting. The words come out before I can stop them. After Christmas. I'll finish out the season, but then I'm done. Toby and I will figure something else out. No. He moves closer, his expression desperate. You can't just quit. Don't run. I'm not running. I'm protecting my son from getting more attached to people who are going to disappoint him. My voice breaks. I'm protecting myself from falling any deeper in love with someone who's going to realize I'm not worth it. You are worth it. He reaches for me, but I step back. Stella, you're worth everything. You're wrong and you know it. I swipe at my eyes. You'd be better off finding someone easier. Someone with less baggage. I don't want easier. I want you. You want the idea of me. The words hurt to say. You want the version where I'm healed and whole and ready for a relationship. But that's not who I am, Wyatt. I'm scared and wounded and so messed up that I can't even accept love when someone offers it because I'm convinced it's going to disappear. Then let me prove it won't. His voice is pleading. Let me show you. Show me what? That you can overcome your doubts long enough to try? That you can ignore your mother's very valid concerns? I shake my head. I don't want to be something you have to overcome, Wyatt. What do you want? He asks quietly. I want to be someone's easy choice. Someone's obvious yes. Not someone they have to convince themselves to take a chance on. The admission breaks me. And I'm never going to be that for you. Your mother will always have concerns. You'll always wonder if you're making a mistake. That's not true. It is. I force myself to look at him, to memorize his face. And the kindest thing I can do for both of us is accept it now instead of dragging this out. So that's it? His voice is rough with emotion. You're just giving up? Deciding for both of us that it won't work? I'm being realistic. You're being scared. He steps closer. You're running before anyone can leave you. You're protecting yourself so hard that you're pushing away the exact thing you want. Maybe. I can't deny it. But at least this way, I get to control it. I get to choose when it ends instead of waiting for it to be taken from me. Stella. I need to get back to work. I move past him, and this time he doesn't stop me. I'll finish out the season. But after Christmas, Toby and I are done here. What about what Toby wants? The question stops me. He loves it here. Loves Pop and learning about the trees and the workshop. His voice cracks. He loves me, Stella. And I love him. Are you really going to take that away from him because you're scared? The words are a direct hit. The cruelest thing he could say because they're true. I'm protecting him, I whisper. He can't lose another person he's gotten attached to. I don't want my son to learn that love is temporary and people leave. But I'm not leaving. You are. Wyatt's voice is quiet, devastating. You're the one walking away, Stella. Not me. I don't have an answer for that. Can't find words through the pain in my chest. So I walk away without responding. Back toward the barn. Back toward the crowds and the work and the performance of being okay. And I leave Wyatt standing alone in the grove, surrounded by trees that will outlast all of us. The rest of my shift passes in a blur. I help customers with forced brightness. I restock and organize and smile until my face hurts. And I avoid Wyatt completely. Around 4, Toby appears with Pop. He's clutching a small wooden reindeer, but his excitement is muted. Careful. Hi, Mom. He holds up the reindeer tentatively. Pop helped me make Rudolph. See? The nose is painted red. It's beautiful, sweetheart. I pull him into a hug, holding on longer than necessary. You're getting so good at this. Pop says I'm a natural. But there's uncertainty in his voice. Mom? Are you okay? I'm fine, baby. Just tired. You're sad, he insists with the perception of a child who's learned to read emotions too young. Did something happen? Did you and Wyatt have a fight? The question catches me off guard. Why would you think that? Because he's sad too. I asked him if he wanted to see my reindeer and he said yes, but he didn't really look at it. Toby's lower lip trembles. Is it my fault? Did I do something wrong? I crouch down to his level, framing his face with my hands. No, sweetheart. You didn't do anything wrong. Things are sometimes complicated with grown-ups. I'm sure Wyatt liked your reindeer. I hate complicated. His eyes fill with tears. I like it here, Mom. My heart shatters. I know, baby. I know. Are we going to have to leave? The question is small, afraid. Like before? I can't lie to him. Won't make promises I might not keep. Maybe, I whisper. I don't know yet. But I don't want to leave. The tears spill over. I pull him against me, and we stand there in the middle of the busy gift barn, both of us crying for different reasons that are ultimately the same. We found something good. Something that felt like belonging. And I'm about to take it away from both of us because I'm too scared to fight for it. Pop appears at my elbow, his expression gentle but knowing. Why don't I take young Toby to get some hot cocoa? Give you a moment. I nod gratefully, and Toby goes with Pop without protest. But he looks back at me with eyes full of questions I can't answer. I finish my shift in mechanical silence. When it's time to leave, I collect Toby from Pop's workshop and head for the car without looking for Wyatt. Can't look for him. Can't risk seeing the hurt in his eyes or the doubt or the relief that I'm making this easier by walking away. Stella. I freeze with my hand on the car door. Wyatt stands a few feet away, his hands shoved in his pockets, his face carefully blank. I just wanted to say, he stops, searching for words. I'm sorry. For all of it. For pulling back when I should have pushed forward. For letting my fear hurt you. His voice cracks. For not being brave enough to fight for this when I had the chance. Wyatt. You're right that I doubted. I let my mom get in my head. I wasn't the man you deserved me to be. He takes a breath. But you're wrong about one thing. You're wrong that you're not worth it. You're wrong that you're too complicated or too broken or too anything. It takes every ounce of strength I have to hold back the tears that threaten to flow. Then why didn't you fight for me? Because I'm a coward. The admission is raw. Because I was so scared of being hurt again that I hurt us both instead. He looks at me with devastation. Now it's too late. Yes. The word is barely a whisper. It is. I get in the car before he can say anything else. Before the look on his face can make me believe that maybe, possibly, we could still fix this. But we can't. As I drive away, I see Wyatt in the rearview mirror, standing alone in the parking lot. And I see the exact moment he gives up. His shoulders drop. His head bows. And he turns and walks back toward the barn without looking back. It's over.
Chapter 12. Wyatt. I'm closing up the barn Monday night when Hazel appears like a ghost from my conscience. Wyatt McCall. Her voice carries across the empty space. We need to talk. Not tonight, Hazel. I don't look up from counting the register. I'm not in the mood. I don't care what mood you're in. She settles onto a stool near the counter, her charm bracelet jingling. You're making a mistake. It's already made. Stella's quitting after Christmas. It's done. Is it? Hazel tilts her head, studying me. Because from where I'm sitting, the only thing that's done is your courage. I slam the cash drawer harder than necessary. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. She fixes me with that knowing gaze. Do you remember what that little boy whispered to you? When you were wearing the Santa suit? My stomach drops. I was there, Wyatt. I heard every word. Her voice is soft but firm. Please help my mom smile again. The words hit me like a physical blow. A 6-year-old boy, Hazel continues quietly, used his one Christmas wish, the thing he wanted most in the entire world, to ask Santa to help his mother be happy. Not toys. Not games. Just his mother's happiness. My throat tightens. Her eyes pin me. And you told him you'd try. You promised to do your best to make this a good Christmas for him and his mom. Do you remember that? Yes. The word is barely a whisper. So tell me, Wyatt. Is this your best? She gestures around the empty barn. Letting Stella walk away because you're scared? Letting that little boy lose another person he's learned to trust? Is this really how you keep your promise to him? You don't know what happened. I know that you love her. Hazel's voice is firm. I know that she loves you. I know that fear is making you both miserable. She stands, moving closer. And I know that Grace didn't raise you to be someone who walks away. The mention of my grandmother breaks something loose in my chest. Stella deserves better than what? A man who loves her. A stable home and a community that welcomes her? Someone who sees her son and thinks gift instead of burden? Hazel's eyes flash. Stop hiding behind noble-sounding excuses, Wyatt. You're not protecting her. You're protecting yourself. What if I hurt her? What if I hurt Toby? What if you don't? She reaches out and taps the note in my hand. This child wished for his mother's happiness. And you are her happiness. Anyone with eyes can see it. She's the one who decided to quit. Because you pulled away first. Hazel's voice softens. You showed her that her fears were justified. That trusting you was a mistake. Can you really blame her for protecting herself after you proved her instincts right? The truth of it crashes over me. Stella wasn't pulling away because she didn't want this. She was pulling away because I showed her she couldn't trust it. Couldn't trust me. I messed this up. My voice cracks. Yes, you did. Hazel's expression gentles. But mistakes can be fixed, Wyatt. What if it's too late? It's only too late if you let it be. She presses the note into my hand. A little boy wished for his mother to smile again. Are you going to help make that wish come true, or are you going to let fear win? She leaves without waiting for an answer, the door chiming softly behind her. I stand alone in the barn, holding Toby's wish, and let myself feel the full weight of what I've done. I told Stella I loved her, then pulled back the next day. I showed her that my love had conditions, that it could be shaken by doubt and fear and my mother's concerns. I proved every terrible thing she believed about herself. And now she's leaving. Taking Toby away from the only place he's felt at home. You look like you've been hit by a truck. I turn to find Pop in the doorway, his coat buttoned against the cold. Hazel came by, I manage. Figured she might. He moves into the barn slowly, his cane tapping against the wooden floor. That woman has a gift for showing up exactly when someone needs sense talked into them. She thinks I'm making a mistake. Are you? I look down and think about Toby's earnest plea for his mother's happiness. Yes. The admission breaks me. I'm making the biggest mistake of my life. Then fix it. He settles onto a stool with a soft groan. Before it's too late to fix. What if she won't forgive me? What if I've hurt her too badly? What if she will? Pop's voice is gentle. What if all she's waiting for is proof that you meant what you said? That your love is stronger than your fear? Mom's going to be upset. Your mother loves you. She'll understand eventually. Pop reaches over and squeezes my shoulder. But son, you can't live your life trying to avoid pain. You can't protect yourself so thoroughly that you miss out on love. Grace used to say that the only real mistake is choosing fear over joy. What if I choose joy and lose it anyway? Then at least you'll have tried. His eyes are warm, knowing. Regret is a heavy thing to carry, Wyatt. Heavier than heartbreak. The truth of his words settles deep in my chest. I love Stella. I love Toby. I want them in my life. And I've been letting fear rob us all of that. I need to fix this, I say, more to myself than to Pop. Yes, you do. I need to show both of them, that I'm not going anywhere. That they can trust me. Yes. I need to fight for this. Really fight. Even if it's hard. Even if Mom doesn't approve. Now you're getting it. Pop smiles. The question is, how are you going to do it? I look at Toby's wish again, and something crystallizes in my mind. He asked Santa to help his mother smile again. To give her a happy Christmas. And I'm going to make that happen. I have an idea, I say slowly. But I need a few days. The Christmas Eve celebration, Pop says, reading my mind. Wishes at Gracewood. Yeah. The pieces fall into place. I'm going to make this right, Pop. I'm going to show her that she's not too much. That loving her isn't settling. That choosing her is the easiest decision I've ever made. Good. Pop stands, gripping his cane. About time. He heads for the door, then pauses. Wyatt? Yes? Your grandmother would be proud of you.
Chapter 13. Stella. I stare at my laptop screen, at the job posting I've read 5 times without absorbing a single word. Administrative assistant needed in Asheville. Competitive salary. Benefits. Start date flexible. It's a good job. Better pay than Gracewood Pines. In a bigger town with more opportunities. My cursor hovers over the button. Submit application. I can't make myself click it. Instead, I close the laptop and move to the small kitchen table where I've spread out my notes. A list of tasks that need doing before we leave. Before I quit. Before I take Toby away from the place he's been calling home. Give 2 weeks notice, after Christmas, update resume, research schools in Asheville, pack non-essentials, find new apartment. The list is practical. Organized. The kind of thing I'm good at. Making plans, staying ahead of chaos, controlling what I can control. But my hand shakes as I add another item. Explain to Toby why we're leaving. I set down the pen before I can write anything else. Before I can make this more real than it already is. The Christmas tree glows softly in the corner, the white lights we strung together reflecting off the ornaments Toby made with pop. The wooden star sits on its branch, the reindeer hangs near the top, and scattered throughout are the glass snowflakes I bought from the gift barn. Evidence of belonging. Of the life we almost had. I stand and move to the tree, my finger finding the switch. The lights blink off, plunging the small living room into darkness broken only by streetlight filtering through the curtains. Better. The darkness is easier somehow. Doesn't force me to look at what I'm giving up. I sink onto the couch, pulling one of the throw blankets around my shoulders, and let myself sit in the quiet. This is the right choice. So why does it feel like my heart is tearing into 2? My phone buzzes on the coffee table. A text from the farm's group chat. Something about the Christmas Eve schedule. I don't open it. Haven't opened any messages from the farm since Saturday. I can't bear to see Wyatt's name. Can't risk reading something that might make me doubt. Another buzz. This time a direct message. Pop, Toby left his reindeer in the workshop. I'll keep it safe until tomorrow. I type back quickly. Thank you. I'll pick it up when I drop off my notice. The cursor blinks, waiting. I imagine Pop reading that, understanding what it means. That I'm really leaving. Really doing this. 3 dots appear. Disappear. Appear again. Finally, doors always open. For both of you. I turn off my phone before I can respond. Before the kindness can crack me open. I need to check on Toby. His room is small, barely big enough for his twin bed and the small bookshelf we picked up at a yard sale. But he's made it his. Drawings taped to the walls. The wooden bird Pop helped him make sitting on his nightstand. A stack of library books about trees and carpentry that he insisted on checking out. He's asleep, his face peaceful in the dim light from the hallway. One hand clutches the wooden whistle Pop carved for him, and I can see the edge of the star ornament peeking out from under his pillow. My chest tightens. He's going to be devastated. He's already asked me 4 times if we're really leaving, if there's any way we can stay, if maybe I could talk to Wyatt and fix whatever's broken. As if it's that simple. As if wanting something is enough to make it work. I settle on the edge of his bed carefully, not wanting to wake him, and smooth his hair back from his forehead. He stirs slightly but doesn't wake. I'm sorry, baby, I whisper. I'm so sorry. Sorry for bringing him here and letting him get attached. Sorry for not protecting him better from the inevitable disappointment. Sorry for falling in love with Wyatt McCall and dragging my son into the wreckage when it all fell apart. Sorry for not being brave enough to stay and fight. The thought stops me. Is that what I'm doing? Not protecting Toby, but running? Choosing fear over the possibility of joy because fear is familiar and joy is terrifying? I think about Richard. About how he made me feel small and incapable. About how I internalized his voice so thoroughly that even now, 2 years later, I hear him in my head. You're too much. Too needy. too broken. But Wyatt never said those things. Never once made me feel like a burden or a complication or something to be managed. He said he loved me. He pulled back, yes. He doubted. But haven't I been doing the exact same thing? Believing the worst about myself and assuming everyone else will eventually see it too? And I'm teaching Toby that this is what you do when things get hard. You leave. You protect yourself. You don't fight for what you want because wanting things is dangerous. A knock at the door startles me from my thoughts. I glance at the clock. It's late for visitors. Through the peephole, I see Hazel Elliott, elegant even in her winter coat, holding what looks like a covered dish. I open the door, confused. Hazel? Stella, dear. I hope I'm not intruding. Her smile is warm but her eyes are sharp, assessing. I was making soup for the Christmas Eve celebration tomorrow and made far too much. Thought you and Toby might like some. It's an obvious excuse, but I step aside to let her in anyway. That's kind of you. You didn't have to. I wanted to. She sets the dish on my small kitchen counter and takes in the apartment with one sweeping glance. The laptop. The lists. The darkened Christmas tree. How are you holding up? Fine. The response is automatic. It's busy. End of season at the farm, you know. Hazel removes her gloves slowly, deliberately. I heard you're leaving. After Christmas. Of course she heard. In a town like Juniper Falls, secrets last about 5 minutes. It's time, I say carefully. The seasonal work is ending anyway. Makes sense to move on. Does it? She settles onto my couch without asking, patting the cushion beside her. Come. Sit with an old woman for a moment. I should make an excuse. Should maintain the boundaries I'm trying so hard to build. But something in Hazel's expression makes me sink onto the couch beside her. I'm going to ask you a question, Hazel says gently. And I want you to think before you answer. Really think. Okay. Are you leaving because it's what you want? Or are you leaving because you're afraid of what you want? The question lands like a stone in still water, sending ripples through every carefully constructed rationalization. I start, then stop. It's complicated. Love usually is. Hazel's voice is kind but knowing. But complicated doesn't mean wrong. It just means it requires courage. I don't have courage. I have fear. So much fear that my voice breaks. I can't breathe sometimes. Can't think past all the ways this could hurt us. What specifically are you afraid of? Everything. Nothing. That he'll realize I'm not worth it, I whisper. That I'm too broken, too complicated, too much work. That he'll wake up one day and understand his mother was right. He deserves easier. And Toby will be there to watch it happen. To learn that people leave. That love is temporary. That wanting things just sets you up for disappointment. Hazel is quiet for a long moment. When she speaks, her voice is soft. Can I tell you something? Hazel asks quietly. Okay. I've lived a long time. Long enough to have made choices I regretted and choices I celebrated. Long enough to know the difference between protecting yourself and denying yourself joy. Her eyes are distant with memory. And the thing I've learned, the thing I wish I'd understood when I was your age, is that the choices you regret most aren't the ones where you tried and failed. They're the ones where fear kept you from trying at all. I wait, sensing there's more. I've loved people. Lost people. Had my heart broken in ways I thought I'd never survive. Her voice is soft but certain. And every single time, when the dust settled and the pain faded, I was grateful I'd been brave enough to love at all. Because the alternative is worse. Tears pool in my eyes. You're standing at a crossroad, Hazel continues, taking my hand. You can choose safe. You can protect yourself and Toby from the possibility of pain. You can leave before anyone can hurt you. Her grip tightens. Or you can choose to be brave. To love even though it's terrifying. To choose the life you want instead of the life that won't hurt you. What if I choose wrong? What if you choose right? Hazel's voice is fierce. What if Wyatt is exactly what he seems? A good man who loves you and wants to build a life with you. What if leaving is the mistake and staying is the answer? What if the only thing standing between you and happiness is your own fear? He pulled away from me. He doubted. He's human. He got scared. Hazel doesn't let go of my hand. But Stella, so did you. You're both terrified people trying to figure out how to love each other. That doesn't mean it won't work. It means it's real. His mother thinks I'm too complicated. That he deserves easier. Marianne is a mother protecting her child. I understand that instinct. Hazel's expression softens. But she doesn't get to decide what Wyatt needs. He does. And more importantly, you don't get to decide for him that you're not enough. That's his choice to make, not yours. The words crack something open in my chest. I don't know how to be brave enough for this, I admit. Bravery isn't the absence of fear, dear. It's choosing love despite the fear. Hazel stands, smoothing her coat. And I think you already know what you want to choose. You're just waiting for permission to want it. Permission from who? From yourself. She moves toward the door, then pauses with her hand on the knob. The Christmas Eve celebration is tomorrow night at the farm. Wishes at Gracewood, we call it. People gather to share their hopes for the new year, to name what they're reaching for. Her eyes meet mine, knowing and kind. Maybe you should come. See what happens when you're brave enough to name what you want out loud. She leaves before I can respond, the door closing softly behind her. I stand in the middle of my small apartment, surrounded by lists and darkness and the weight of the choice I have to make. The Christmas tree sits in the corner, its lights still off. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. Tomorrow, I have to decide. Run or stay. Fear or courage. A chance at the kind of love I always dreamed of. I look at Toby's closed bedroom door, thinking about the little boy sleeping inside who deserves to see his mother fight for joy. And I wonder if I'm brave enough to give him that.
Chapter 14. Wyatt. The barn has never looked more beautiful. White lights are strung across every beam, reflecting off glass ornaments and making the whole space glow. The fire pit outside crackles with warmth, and families gather in clusters, their voices creating a hum of anticipation. Tables are set up with hot cider and cookies, and in the corner. It's perfect. Exactly what Grace envisioned when she started this tradition 30 years ago. Except Stella isn't here. I check my phone for the 100th time. The ceremony starts at 8, and there's no sign of her car in the parking lot. She'll come, Pop says quietly beside me. You don't know that. I know that girl loves you. And she's not the type to leave things unfinished. He squeezes my shoulder. Have faith, son. Faith. I'm trying. But every minute that ticks by makes doubt creep in a little further. What if she changed her mind? What if I hurt her too badly for her to forgive me? Wyatt. Mom appears at my elbow, and I brace myself for another warning. Can we talk? Before this starts, she asks instead. We step outside into the cold December night, away from the crowd. The parking lot is filling with cars, but still no sign of Stella's sedan. I owe you an apology, Mom says quietly. I turn to look at her, surprised. I let my worry for you cloud my judgment. I saw Rachel and Stella when I should have seen that they're nothing alike. She wraps her coat tighter. I didn't stop to consider whether Stella might be exactly what you need. Mom. Let me finish. She holds up a hand. Pop sat me down yesterday and reminded me that Grace took a risk on him when everyone said she shouldn't. Reminded me that the best loves are often the complicated ones, because they require us to grow. Her eyes are bright. And he reminded me that my job isn't to protect you from pain. It's to support you in choosing joy. My throat tightens. So if Stella comes tonight, if you two can find your way back to each other, Mom's voice cracks slightly. I'll support it. I'll do everything I can to make her feel like she belongs here, because if she makes you happy, that's all that matters. Thank you, I manage. Don't thank me yet. I still worry. That's what mothers do. Her smile is watery. But I trust you to know your own heart. She hugs me quickly, then heads back inside, leaving me alone with the December stars and the question that won't stop echoing. Headlights sweep across the parking lot and my heart stops. Stella's sedan pulls into a spot near the barn, and I watch as she turns off the engine. She sits there for a long moment, not moving, and I can see her gripping the steering wheel. The back door opens and Toby climbs out, clutching something in his hands. Stella follows more slowly, and even from here I can see the tension in her shoulders. I want to run to her to close the distance and tell her we're going to be okay. But I hold back, giving her space to make her own way inside. She sees me watching and stops. Our eyes meet across the parking lot, and something passes between us. A silent acknowledgement that we're both scared but trying. Then Toby tugs her hand, and they walk toward the barn together. I meet them at the entrance. Toby looks up at me with uncertain eyes, and my chest aches. "Hi, buddy," I say softly. "Hi, Wyatt." His voice is small. "Mom said we needed to talk to you, but I was scared you'd be mad." I crouch down to his level. "I'm not mad. I'm really glad you came." "Really?" "Really." I look up at Stella. "Both of you." Her eyes are bright with unshed tears. "Wyatt, After, I say gently. There's something I need to do first. Will you stay?" She nods. "Come on." I stand and gesture into the barn. "Let's get you two some cider. And Toby," I pause. "I made something for you. For both of you. I'll give it to you after, okay?" His face brightens slightly. "Okay." Inside, the barn is packed. I see familiar faces. Neighbors, regular customers, friends I've known my whole life. Hazel sits near the front, her eyes knowing. Pop stands near the entrance, greeting people and handing them slips of paper for their wishes. And Mom, standing near the hot cider, catches my eye and nods. It's everything I needed. I move to the small podium we set up near the Christmas tree. The crowd quiets, turning their attention toward me. I've given this speech before. Every year, I talk about grace, about tradition, about the importance of community and hope. But tonight, I'm not playing it safe. Thank you all for coming, I begin, my voice carrying across the barn. For those who don't know, Wishes at Gracewood is a tradition my grandmother Grace started 30 years ago. She believed that Christmas Eve was the perfect time to name what we're hoping for. Not just in presents under the tree, but in our lives. In our hearts. I scan the crowd and find Stella near the back, Toby pressed close to her side. She's watching me with wide, uncertain eyes. The tradition is simple. You write your wish on a piece of paper and burn it in the bonfire outside. Grace used to say that the smoke carries our hopes up to the stars, and that wishes only come true when we're brave enough to name them. When we're willing to risk disappointment for the possibility of joy. I grip the podium, steadying myself. I've been thinking a lot about that lately. About bravery and risk and what it means to reach for what you want even when you're terrified. A few murmurs ripple through the crowd. This isn't the usual speech. Most of you know that I've run this farm my whole adult life. That I chose to stay here when I could have left. That I've built my life around this place and these trees and this community. I take a breath. And for a long time, I thought that was enough. I thought if I just kept my head down and did the work and protected what my grandparents built, I'd be happy. I look directly at Stella now. But then someone walked into my life and showed me that I'd been settling for safe instead of reaching for full. That I'd been protecting myself so carefully that I'd forgotten what it felt like to actually want something with my whole heart. Stella's hand covers her mouth. Her name is Stella Monroe. I step away from the podium, moving closer to where she stands. And she came to Gracewood Pines looking for a job and gave me so much more than that. She gave me hope. She gave me a vision of what family could look like. The crowd parts as I walk toward her. Toby's eyes are wide, and Stella is frozen, tears filling her eyes. I messed up, I say, my voice raw with emotion. I let doubt creep in. I pulled back when I should have pushed forward, and I hurt the person I love most in the world because I was too scared to fight for her. I stop a few feet away from her, not touching but close enough that she can see everything I'm feeling. But I'm done letting fear dictate my life. I look at Toby, then back at Stella. Because a very wise 6-year-old once told Santa that his Christmas wish was for his mother to smile again. And I plan to help Santa make that happen. Toby gasped softly. So here's my wish. I address the whole barn now, but my eyes never leave Stella. I wish for the courage to tell Stella Monroe that I love her. That I want her in my life. A tear rolls down Stella's cheek and I close the distance between us. I wish for her to know that she doesn't complicate my life. She completes it. That her son isn't a burden but a gift. That everything I thought I wanted pales in comparison to what she's offering me. I take her hands in mine, not caring that everyone is watching. I wish for a second chance. For the opportunity to prove that I'm steady enough to deserve her trust. That I'm brave enough to fight for us. That I love her enough to choose her every single day for the rest of my life. Wyatt, she breathes. I love you, Stella. I love your strength and your gentleness and the way you create beauty everywhere you go. I love how you love Toby and how you've taught me what real courage looks like. My voice breaks. And I'm so sorry I made you doubt that. Sorry I let you believe for even a second that you weren't worth fighting for. I'm sorry too, she whispers. So we both messed up. I brush tears from her cheeks with my thumbs. Can we start over? She nods, unable to speak. Is that a yes? Yes. The word comes out choked. Yes, Wyatt. I love you. I love you so much it terrifies me, but I'm choosing it anyway. I'm choosing you. I'm choosing us. I pull her into my arms, and she comes willingly, her face pressed against my chest, her hands fisting in my flannel. I hold her tight. Mom? Toby's voice is small. Are you smiling? Stella pulls back slightly and looks down at her son, and her face is radiant despite the tears. Yeah, baby. I'm smiling. She reaches for him, and he crashes into both of us, wrapping his arms around our legs. I lift him up, settling him on my hip, and he looks between us with wonder. Does this mean we're staying? He asks. We don't have to leave? We're staying, Stella confirms, her voice strong. If Wyatt will have us. If I'll have you? I nearly laugh. Stella, I've been yours since you reorganized my ornament display. I just didn't know it yet. She laughs through her tears, and the sound fills every empty space in my chest. Can I kiss you? I ask softly. Right here, in front of everyone, so there's no question about how I feel? Please. I lean in slowly, giving Toby time to squirm if he wants to, but he just grins. And then my lips meet Stella's, and nothing else matters. The kiss is soft. Tender. Full of promise and apology and hope. It tastes like second chances and Christmas wishes and coming home. When we break apart, the barn erupts in applause and cheers. Hazel is wiping her eyes with a handkerchief. Pop is beaming so wide I can see it from here. And Mom is smiling through tears, nodding her approval. Toby, I say, setting him down carefully. I have something for both of you. Wait here. I retrieve 2 wrapped packages from behind the podium. I hand the smaller one to Toby first. Open it, I encourage. He tears into the paper eagerly, revealing a canvas tool belt sized perfectly for a 6-year-old. His name is stitched across the front in dark green thread, and the pockets are already filled with child-safe tools. There's a small hammer, a measuring tape, and safety goggles. Pop helped me pick everything out, I explain. Thought you might want your own tools for the workshop. If that's okay with your mom. Toby's eyes are huge. Really? My own tools? Really? You're part of the crew now. Official Gracewood Pines helper. He clutches the belt to his chest, then throws his arms around my waist. Thank you, Wyatt. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I crouch down to hug him properly, and over his shoulder I see Pop watching with moisture in his eyes. When Toby finally releases me, I turn to Stella and hand her the second package. She opens it more slowly, careful with the wrapping. Inside is a simple box, and inside that a key on a leather cord. What is it? She asks, though I think she already knows. A key to the cabin. I take her free hand. I know it's fast. I know we have a lot to figure out. But I want you to know that you and Toby have a home at Gracewood Pines. Always. Whether that's in the cabin or our own house on the Propert. You belong here. This is your home. She clutches the key to her chest, fresh tears falling. Wyatt. No pressure. It's just a key. Think of it as a promise. A place to call home whenever you're ready. She doesn't say anything. Just steps into my arms and kisses me, and this time Toby cheers along with everyone else. When the celebration finally winds down and families start heading outside to the bonfire, Mom approaches us quietly. Stella, she says, her voice gentle. I owe you an apology. I let my worry for Wyatt cloud my judgment. I'm sorry for making you feel unwelcome. For questioning whether you belonged here. Stella looks surprised. Marianne. You make my son happy. And that's all a mother can really hope for. Mom's smile is genuine. I hope you'll give me a chance to prove I can be better. To welcome you the way you deserve. Thank you, Stella manages. That means more than you know. Mom nods, then surprises us both by pulling Stella into a brief hug. Welcome to the family. As she walks away, Stella leans into me, and I wrap my arm around her shoulders. Did that just happen? She asks. It did. Toby is already wearing his tool belt over his coat, showing it to anyone who'll look. Pop is explaining to him how each tool works, his patience infinite. We follow the crowd outside where the bonfire blazes against the December night. People are gathered in a circle around it, some holding their slips of paper, some feeding them to the flames. Sparks rise into the darkness, carrying wishes up toward the stars. Pop hands Toby a small piece of paper and a pencil. Want to make a wish? Toby thinks for a moment, his face serious with concentration. Then he writes something carefully and folds the paper. What did you wish for? Stella asks gently. Can't tell, or it won't come true. But he's grinning as he walks to the fire and tosses his wish into the flames. We watch it catch and burn, the smoke carrying it skyward. Pop hands paper to both Stella and me. Your turn. I watch Stella write hers, her hand moving slowly across the paper. She folds it carefully, holds it to her chest for a moment, then walks to the fire. The flames consume it quickly, and she watches the smoke rise with a soft smile. When she comes back to me, I ask quietly, what did you wish for? Can't tell, she says, but her eyes are dancing. But I think it might already be coming true. I look at my blank paper. I could wish for 1,000 things. For the farm to prosper, for Pop's health, for good growing seasons. But there's only one thing I really want. I start to write. For every Christmas to be like this one. For Stella and Toby to be mine, and me to be theirs, for all the Christmases to come. I fold it, walk to the fire, and let it burn. The smoke rises into the December night, joining all the other wishes spiraling toward the stars. When I return, Stella and Toby are standing together near the fire's warmth. Toby is adjusting his tool belt importantly, and Stella is watching him with such love it makes my chest ache. I wrap my arms around them both, and we stand there as a family, surrounded by our community, bathed in firelight and hope and the gentle magic of Christmas Eve.
Epilogue. Stella. Juniper Falls, 1 year later. The wreath workshop is my favorite part of the week now. I stand at the front of the barn, demonstrating how to layer Fraser fir with holly, and my hands move with confidence I didn't have a year ago. The room is full. 20 people are gathered around tables covered in greenery and ribbon. And unlike last year, I'm not nervous or worried that I'm doing something wrong. I belong here. The key is to think about texture, I explain, holding up my partially completed wreath. You want the soft pine against something with more structure. Holly works beautifully, but so does eucalyptus or even bare branches if you want something more minimalist. A woman in the front row raises her hand. How do you keep the ribbon from slipping? Great question. Let me show you. I move between tables, helping individuals, and I catch my reflection in the window. I'm smiling. Really smiling. The kind that reaches my eyes and stays there even when I'm concentrating. Please help my mom smile again. Toby's wish came true. Not because of magic or Christmas miracles, but because I chose joy and a life with Wyatt. You're a natural at this, Marianne says, appearing beside me with fresh supplies. I never could get people as engaged as you do. You taught me everything I know, I remind her. I taught you technique. The rest, that's all you. She squeezes my shoulder, and the gesture is warm. Genuine. We've come a long way from that tense first month. She's become more than just Wyatt's mother. She's become family. Someone who shows up when Toby's sick, who brings me fresh banana bread just because, and who told me last week that Grace would have loved me. Almost time for wishes at Gracewood, Marianne says, glancing at the clock. Are you ready? Ready for what? Her smile is mysterious. You'll see. By the time the workshop ends and I've cleaned up, dusk is settling over the farm. The bonfire is blazing in the distance, and families are gathering around it before heading into the barn. Toby finds me, his face bright with excitement. Mom. Pop says I get to help with something special tonight. Does he? I ruffle his hair. What kind of special? It's a surprise. But it's good, I promise. Wyatt appears and pulls me close, kissing my temple. Ready for this? Ready for what? Everyone's being mysterious tonight. You'll see. His smile is nervous but excited. Trust me? Always. The barn fills quickly. Wyatt moves to the small podium near the Christmas tree. The crowd quiets, turning their attention to him. Last year, he stood in this exact spot and declared his love for me in front of everyone. Changed my entire life with one brave speech. Tonight, his eyes find mine across the barn, and something passes between us. Thank you all for coming to Wishes at Gracewood, he begins. This tradition started with my grandmother Grace 30 years ago. She believed Christmas Eve was the perfect time to name what we're hoping for. In our lives and in our hearts. The crowd listens, familiar with the annual speech. Last year, I stood here and told you about someone who changed my life. Someone who showed me what it meant to choose courage over fear. To fight for love instead of protecting myself from it. His eyes stay locked on mine. Stella walked into Gracewood Pines looking for a job and gave me so much more. She gave me family. She gave me hope. My eyes fill with tears. This isn't the usual speech. Tonight, before we go outside to burn our wishes, I want to share one more tradition. He gestures to Marianne. Mom? Marianne steps forward, and to my surprise, she's holding a small handsaw with Toby carved into the handle. Toby Monroe, she says warmly. Would you come here, please? Toby glances at me, uncertain. I nod, and he walks to the front. Last year, Marianne continues, you made a wish that your mother would smile again. And looking at her now, she smiles at me. I'd say that wish came true. The crowd murmurs agreement. This year, we want to welcome you officially into the Gracewood Pines family. She hands him the saw. This is yours, Toby. You're part of our traditions now. Part of our family. And we're honored to have you. She pulls him into a hug, and I watch through tears as my son is embraced fully by this family. When Toby returns to my side, clutching his saw with pride, Wyatt continues. Grace used to say that wishes only come true when we're brave enough to reach for them. When we're willing to do the work. He steps away from the podium and walks toward me. Last year, I reached for something I was terrified to want. And Stella was brave enough to reach back. The crowd parts as he approaches. My heart is racing. This year, I'm reaching again. He pulls a slip of paper from his pocket. I wrote my wish already. And I'm breaking the rules by showing it to everyone. He holds up the paper so the crowd can see. Will you marry me? Gasps ripple through the barn. My hand flies to my mouth. Stella Monroe. Wyatt drops to one knee right there in front of everyone, pulling a small velvet box from his other pocket. Will you marry me? Will you let me love you for the rest of my life? Will you build this future with me? You and Toby and whatever comes next? Will you let me be your family, officially, permanently, forever? Yes. The word comes out choked with tears. He opens the box, revealing a simple diamond on a delicate gold band. Grandma's ring. Pop gave it to me. Said she'd want you to have it. My hands are shaking as he slides it onto my finger. It fits perfectly. The barn erupts in cheers and applause. Wyatt stands and pulls me into his arms, kissing me deeply while our community celebrates around us. When we break apart, Toby is there, looking between us with wonder. Does this mean we're a real family now? He asks. Like, officially? Wyatt crouches down. We've been a real family for a while now, buddy. This just makes it official with paperwork. So I can call you Dad? The question is soft, hopeful. For real? Wyatt's eyes fill with tears. I'd be honored if you did. Toby launches himself at Wyatt. Dad, Dad, Dad. The crowd cheers louder, and I watch through happy tears as they hold each other. Hazel appears beside me, pressing a handkerchief into my hand. I knew it from the start, she says with deep satisfaction. Pop pulls me into a careful hug. Grace would be so happy. Marianne is next, tears streaming down her face. Welcome to the family, Stella. Officially. She hugs me tightly. I'm so glad you stayed. So glad you were brave enough to choose us. After the celebration calms, people begin moving outside toward the bonfire. Wyatt keeps me close as we walk, his arm around my waist, and I can feel the ring on my finger. A permanent reminder that he loves me without reservation. The bonfire blazes against the December night. Pop hands out slips of paper and pencils, and people begin writing their wishes. Wyatt gives me a fresh piece of paper. Your turn. What are you wishing for? I look around at the bonfire, at Toby showing his saw to Pop with pride, at Marianne laughing with friends, at the community that's become ours. At the man beside me who just asked me to be his wife. My pencil scratches across the scrap of paper. For every year to be as full of love as this one. For our family to keep growing. For the courage to choose joy, always. I fold it carefully and walk to the fire. The flames consume it quickly, and I watch the smoke spiral upward into the December stars. When I return to Wyatt's side, he wraps his arms around me. What did you wish for? Can't tell, I say with a smile. But I think it's already coming true. He kisses me softly, and we stand there with Toby between us, watching as other people add their wishes to the flames. Smoke rises in gentle spirals, carrying hopes toward the stars. When should we get married? Wyatt murmurs. Spring, I say. When everything's blooming. Right here on the farm. Perfect. He pulls us both closer. Small ceremony. Just the people we love. Can Pop be in the wedding? Toby asks. And Hazel? And Marianne? Everyone we love will be there, Wyatt promises. Good. Toby leans against him. Because we're a real family now. And families stick together. Always, I whisper. 1 year ago, I stood in this barn broken and scared. Convinced I was too damaged to be loved. Too complicated to be wanted. Now I stand here engaged to the steadiest man I've ever known, part of a community that sees me, mother to a thriving child, and absolutely certain of where I belong. As the bonfire burns lower and families begin drifting toward their cars, I look at Gracewood Pines spread out before us. The barn glowing with lights. The tree grove standing in the snow. The cabin where we built our love. Every corner of this place holds our story. What are you thinking? Wyatt asks softly. That Toby's wish came true. I look up at him, Grace's ring warm on my finger. He asked Santa to help me smile again. And I am. With all my heart. Good. He kisses me gently. That's all I ever wanted. Both of you happy and both of you home. We are home, I lean into him. And as the last sparks from the bonfire drift toward the December stars, carrying wishes into the night, I know with absolute certainty that this is just the beginning. 1 year ago, we found each other. Now we're building forever. Together. The end. This has been The Christmas Wish. Written by Susanne Ash. Copyright 2025 by Susanne Ash. Production copyright 2026 by Susanne Ash. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe if you want me to put more of my books on YouTube. Visit my website at www.susanneash.com for more of my books or find me on Amazon.